this up. There we go. Check, check, check. Check one, check one. Whoa, those are hot. Check, check, check.
Hey, check.
Check one, check, check. All right, let's move this over. There. Let's take this and detach it here. Pop out chat. Right up there. Be nice to have a real permanent studio. If that dude's thing takes off that he's talking to us about.
Yeah, that would be nice.
All right. We're on standby. We're streaming. We are rolling. I think stream health is good. Analytics look good. Settings look good. All right. Did you add anything to the notes? Anything?
I've been pretty slammed. There were some things I wanted to grab.
Oh, there was something I just wanted to grab too.
It was on No Agenda's show this morning, I think, or from Sunday.
Some of the audio.
The one of Biden when he was talking in, was it 2012 or whatever he was talking, and he said he was basically admits to extorting the Ukraine.
Yeah.
So people could hear his sliminess. Because I don't think they play that on mainstream media very much.
They don't.
And then also him talking about.
This morning you woke up to some more
this is the one I wanted to play.
Numbers when it comes to inflation, 7.5%. I think it was back in July you said inflation was going to be temporary. I think a lot of Americans are wondering what your definition of temporary is.
Well, you're being a wise guy with me a little bit. I understand that's your job. The reason for the
Wall Street Journal did some in the long term. Europe does not have the capacity to provide.
Was that this week's?
Anyway, there's another one with.
There's Sundays where he's talking about that.
I think it was Sundays. I don't think I listened to Thursday for some reason. Oh, because I've been crazy busy.
There's the one from 1997 where he talks about NATO and Russia. But yeah, what was the one? It's the one where
There's one also.
He's extorting that.
Mm-hmm.
Who is it? That attorney or whatever that's over there in Ukraine.
He wants him to fire him.
To fire him, yeah.
And he's almost like he's bragging. I wanted to pull that, and there's also one of him talking about how, like, during the when Obama was when Obama was campaigning, when he was debating Mitt Romney, and Mitt Romney said our greatest threat is Russia, and he said, and Obama was like, hey, we're not in a Cold War anymore, and Biden, like, right after that came out and pretty much echoed that, saying Russia's our friend, like, pretty much the Cold War's over, we don't need to be doing that, like,
all this is show.
Yeah, well, I'm starting to think it's just Putin playing the dumb White House.
I think it is too.
I think
this is all psychological warfare.
Yeah.
And
he's winning. He's
just
dominating.
By far. Why do I see a hair on the corner of my eyes? It's going to bug me. All right. I have to find that. We'll have to play that sometime because that is great because I've been talking about that, telling people about it. I keep meaning to go look for it. You think it was Sundays?
Yeah, it was Sundays. The one I just listened to, which was, let me see, Seat Warmer, which was the 20th.
May have to go just pull it out of the thing. off the show because I don't see it in their clips. Because if it's not new, I don't think it shows up in there. Wait, is this it?
When can Americans expect some relief?
Yeah, I may just have to rip it out of the show. So I don't see it. But that is pretty good. I do like that. Robotuner, Barry Clay. Yeah, it was the Attorney General for Ukraine. That's right. Barry's on it. He knows.
Here, listen to this.
So, and the second thing is, Governor Romney's answer I thought was incredibly revealing. He acts like he thinks the Cold War is still on. Russia is still our major adversary. I don't know where he's been. I mean, we have disagreements with Russia, but they're united with us on Iran. The only way we're getting, one of only two ways we're getting material into Afghanistan to our troops is through Russia. They are working closely with us. They've just said to Europe, if there is an oil shutdown in any way in the Gulf, they'll consider increasing oil supplies to Europe. This is not 1956.
Think he wants to take that back?
Probably, yeah.
Actually, he doesn't even know.
He doesn't know what's
He
going on.
doesn't know what's going on. The man is lost. That's the thing, too. He showed his cards to Putin. He has shown Putin that he needs to save his party, and now Putin's taking advantage of it.
Holy shit. That was loud. Okay. We have a guest for the 8th. We have a guest for next week now that our guys have moved. And then we have a guest for the 8th. Uncle Toasty will be in to promote the album release. All right. So you want to start this up? Let's go. Wait.
Yes.
Wait. Hold on. I got to arm everything. Give me your level.
Check. 1, 2, check.
Check.
1, 2, check.
Yes. Testes.
Hurrah.
Hurrah. Did you finish Book of Fat?
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that.
I'd finish
Matt Stubbs.
You want to talk about it on the show?
Did you see the last episode of 1883?
No, I haven't. I need to catch it all up.
Oh.
I am not. I've been waiting for it because I just want to watch it all at once.
And I just finished Barry season 2 last night. Whoa! Like, good
Oh, you
gosh.
hadn't seen that? Oh,
I thought I had seen season 2, but apparently I hadn't. And that finale was wild.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff to pull out of that and figure out how when season 3 fires up.
Which is coming out in April?
I think they said
something like that.
April. All right, let's play the intro. Here we go.
Matt Stubbs. A man who wants to make Watauga better. By fixing the potholes.
Arlington.
By putting shit in a bag and putting it in the pothole. To make Watauga safe for your children. Vote Matt Stubbs. This message paid for by the friends of Matt Stubbs.
This episode of the
Guys, your turn.
brought to you by
Guys
Note.
and
Victor Wrench.
and Plastic Object.
This program contains graphic material, including offensive language. Viewer discretion is advised.
I am the one, orgasmatron, a such dangerously hand. My images of agony, my torrents reach the land. Of sickly and arrogance, that the second memory 40 years of misery and torture in my name. Hypocrisy and paranoia of the law. My name is called religion. Sadistic, sacred horror.
Show number 461. It is Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022.
Palindrome.
It is a palindrome.
Hey,
Everybody's
check,
freaking
check,
out.
check,
People
check.
went
Yeah.
and
Palindrome.
got tattoos, went and got... I'm seeing all sorts of shit happen on Facebook. Of course, when it was 2:22 in the afternoon, everybody had to post it. That it was 2:22 on 2:22 of 22. Are you into numerology? What it stands for? What all this could stand for? Well, people broke it down that did you know that Biden had a press conference on the East Coast time of he walked out at 2:22? He had a presser about the whole Ukraine-Russia thing.
At 2:22?
He walked out at 2:22, so that's your first 6.
Yeah, isn't
Then
the
it's
whole rest of the week a palindrome?
Isn't it? I think so, over and over and over again. Or is it next year? It's the whole week.
No, is it next year?
I don't know.
Because tomorrow will be 2/23/22. So basically, that's a palindrome too, right?
Yeah, right. And 2:20. So it's all this week
And then it goes away for a year. That's what I've heard.
till March, or something
Till
like
next
that.
year at March
Yeah.
or something.
So anyway, he walks out at 2:22. So
March.
that's 6, and then he walked out on 2:22, like the second month and 22nd day. That's another 6 of 2022. You add all those twos up. That's another 6. So it's obvious that Biden is the number of the beast. He is the Antichrist. He is the one that is going to end the world, according to numerologists and conspiracy theorists.
He's a dumb
It cracked me up.
antichrist.
The worst Antichrist.
The worst everything.
Like, by this time, I would have figured that, if Marilyn Manson was the true Antichrist, like everybody said he was, it would have.
I didn't know that
happened.
Marilyn Manson was the Antichrist.
That's what everybody said. In the 90s, this guy was the Antichrist and was going to bring the end of the world. But now we have who's a better Antichrist player, Marilyn Manson or Biden?
I don't know. They're both
Idiots.
So Trudeau, he's the Antichrist.
He's Cuban. Fidel Castro's nephew, son, some great grandson, some shit like that.
Yeah, we
Somewhere
talked
along
about that last week.
Yeah, I forget what the blood chain is.
There's some kind of there's more than just he looks like him to the story.
Yeah. Well, he was a clone.
Yeah, how is he going out right now? I'd stay inside for the rest of my life if I was Trudeau.
Have you heard the shit that's gone down now? Like we've
insane.
talked about the trucker stuff, and they've cleared all the trucks out. They arrested 191 people.
Yeah, and they were busting in shops and stuff because they were selling. They were still open to the truckers.
Yeah, and
I'm
arresting people that supported the truckers.
Yeah,
and
having
now
horses trample old ladies.
Yeah. There was no violence until they started doing all this.
Was that... I didn't watch any news at all. Was that on any kind of mainstream media source? Stomping of the lady?
I saw video of it from a distance on one of the news.
Because remember the fake
they
whips?
They were all into it. Yeah.
How much that was all over the place.
Yeah. People can change... not knowing the difference between what reins are on a horse and what whips are.
Yeah, it's safe to say that the old lady getting trampled
trumped all that.
But it hasn't gotten any kind of airplay.
Yeah. Yeah, the what is it? The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP?
Yeah.
Yeah, just running over some lady and trampling her to death with a horse.
Every time I see that hashtag, I think Red Hot Chili Peppers for some reason.
I do too. Like
or
what?
Rage Against the Machine, RAT,
Yeah.
or Between the Buried and Me.
Yeah, what's going on here? Or Bring Me the Horizon.
Exactly.
That's the other one that throws me off. What? Huh? All these four.
These weird acronyms coming out of nowhere. It got ugly. Like they handled that totally wrong. Did you see that the police officers too were covering their badges and their and all their contact info?
Yeah.
What the fuck, man?
That's not weird. And now the streets are filled with checkpoints. Ottawa has checkpoints all over it, and you have to show that you live in the area,
or they'll kick you out,
or they'll arrest you. And if you don't have your papers on you, you're going to jail.
So what happens if you and I just took a romantic bro trip to Ottawa and we had it scheduled and we were just there? Would they just kick us out of the city?
I don't know what they do.
Like, y'all can't stay here.
I'm like, a fucking American. You let me do what I want.
We want to watch a hockey game.
Yeah.
That's why we're here.
We came to see the Senators play.
Where are you from? Texas. Get out.
I don't know. They may treat us better because we're from Texas. Everybody treats Texans better.
Yeah, they do. They really do. They always talk shit about them, but when they start hanging out with Texans, they're always like, you guys are the coolest guys in the world.
I have gotten the, you're an American. What are you doing in my country? And then I'm like, well, where are you from in America? And I'm like, I'm Texan. Oh, come on in. Me and you good.
Yeah, it's funny how
I don't know what accent that was.
That's what apparently that's how it is in Australia too. It's you're an American,
or you'll get laid.
Or you're a Texan. If you're a Texan, you'll get laid.
According to our old drummer, if you tell him you're a Texan, you're not gonna pay for a beer ever, and you're gonna get laid.
You're gonna get laid. You're gonna put it in
by a crocodile. But
yeah,
that's pretty much the way things go. If you're a Texan, I mean, we got it pretty good. Now, if you live in the United States and you say you're a Texan, the rest of the states piss on you.
You're a Nazi.
Yeah, especially those Californians. But they're just jealous that half their population is moving this way, and they're no longer the biggest wind or solar provider in the country.
Yeah, we got the big chunk of the money on that.
Yeah.
Which is stupid. Just a waste of bunch of money.
Yeah.
It's so funny. People don't understand that comes from coal. The power that powers that whole
The people don't understand that these windmills will never make back what it costs to manufacture them or how much fucking oil it takes to keep one of those turbines turning. A shit ton of oil.
Hey, they know what's best for the world, though.
Yeah, they know what's best for the world.
The wokesters know.
Yep.
You can't debate them.
Nope.
They're all knowing. They're omnipresent and omnipotent, whatever. I don't know.
You got to get your electric car because that's what's important.
I don't know what that was. I don't think it was mine.
Did you that boat? Okay, so there's a boat. There's a cargo ship in the middle of the ocean.
We talked about that last week too. Did
we talk about it? Or
I thought we touched on it.
I thought it was just me and Jeremy talking about it.
Yeah, it was the next day or something, wasn't it? Yeah.
So there was a cargo ship coming over from Europe, full of European luxury and sports cars. So you have Audis. It was basically from everything that falls under Volkswagen. There were Lamborghinis, Porsches,
VW,
Audi,
Volkswagen,
all on this ship. Did you hear what caused it? What they think caused the fire?
What do they think caused it? Rats?
One of the electric vehicles, one of the batteries exploding.
Hey, that's one of the deals with them, isn't it?
It sunk a giant cargo ship with...
Almost got taken out by a battery a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah, and now I freak out every time I look at mine or go to charge them, and I'm like...
Is it going to blow up?
I'm not going to... I threw both of them away, I think.
Well, this was an immediate thing, so it's not like... If you've had it and it's been working, I'm pretty sure you're going to be all right.
That's crazy, though.
But the batteries in these cars, this has been an issue, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've heard and read.
Well, it was an issue there for a while. The fire departments didn't have anything to put them out with.
You know, it's really messed up, too.
You can't just go spray water on them.
No, yeah. You have to kind of let it burn out, right?
It's all chemical stuff. You have to...
They
had to make a new class of fire extinguisher
for that.
Electric vehicles, yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy, man. Crazy.
It's crazy. And they talk about... they were talking about it on Top Gear.
Electric vehicles?
or maybe it was when they moved over to the Grand Tour, about one of the electric vehicles catching on fire.
Yeah.
And it burned for like 6 days because it kept reigniting itself on the batteries. Yeah, that's good for the environment and all that
Chemicals and
lithium
stuff
ion
everywhere.
and everything.
Yeah.
That was mined by slavery. But yeah, go get you a Tesla because it's so clean
Well,
and
that's
it's
the
so
thing.
good for the environment.
It's
so
funny
great.
how many people are these wokesters are on iPhones.
Yeah.
What? You support pretty much
slave labor,
slave labor,
putting that shit together.
Sweatshops,
yeah, that's true.
It's they talk out of both sides of their mouth so much. They don't stand for anything.
Don't look at chat. Don't look at
chat.
It'll throw you off. I sent you and Jeremy another thing.
This fire, though,
on the boat,
right?
Yeah.
That would suck if you finally have arrived and you've bought your Lambo, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're all excited about it showing up.
You bought this Porsche.
We got some bad news for you.
You're not going to get your vehicle. Well, surely you've only paid a deposit, right?
I don't know. I don't know how that all works.
Well, I don't know. Exotics, you may have to pay
go
for
get
everything
a
up
credit
front.
check, like down at the what's the CarMax?
I don't think you're going to be able to. What's that?
Drive now?
Green Tree or whatever.
Auto financing. Green Tree auto financing.
Yeah.
You don't think they're going to finance it?
You can't go. I'm buying a Lambo. Can I Green Tree this? No. It's like when I walked into the Ferrari dealership over in Plano. Yeah. How much this thing cost? The guy goes, if you have to ask, you don't. You're not buying this. I was like, hey, I thought I'd ask. Plus, I was like 18 at the time.
It'd have been funny if you'd have been like, well, fuck it, I'll take it.
Yeah. I was just wondering how much I needed to bring in here in a briefcase.
But now you're a dick. So.
Well, this is back before the tech explosion. Now you can't do that because someone can walk in there 18 years old and have like a fucking crazy-ass YouTube account and be like, yeah, I want to buy this. How much is it?
I think I heard that there's a lot of those people around that live around here, too. Mm-hmm. Some of these YouTube kids out of the Aryan Nation.
South Lake?
Yeah. There's a bunch that live out there in Westlake, all that area, that have rode that wave.
Colleyville.
Colleyville's all over the news lately. See, did you hear about
we need to reach out to our peeps in Colleyville.
Really, dude.
And figure out which one of them are throwing anti-Semitic packages all over people's lawns.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
And then this comes on the heels of the hostage situation that there was more to, obviously.
Obviously. There's way more to all that hostage situation.
What if it goes back to the White Widow?
Having flashbacks again.
Show flashbacks?
That whole White Widow thing is crazy.
It's a good one.
That shit's wild. Research the White Widow.
Yeah, you want to blow your mind. Do it.
Yeah.
Research.
Or watch that show. It's on Netflix. America's Deadliest Criminals.
The world's most wanted.
World's Most Wanted.
I think that's what it's called. It's very good.
World's Most Wanted on Netflix. There's like 6 episodes.
I like it when you stumble across stuff like that. It just shows up and you're like, oh, check it out. And you think it's going to suck. And you're like, whoa.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it shows you how deep and dark people really are.
Deep. So deep.
You think you've heard the darkest and deep and weirdest things. And then you're like, oh, these people that are in the mob overseas, the shit they see in America is like just petty crime. Let's just keep vats of acid around to melt kids down in.
Throw at women that we don't like.
Yeah. And
kids.
We're going to steal your kids and just drop them in it.
Put them in a whale
slowly
for 700 days.
Yeah.
And when we've had a bad day, come home and beat them up. It's wild.
Wild. Maybe that guy didn't own an Xbox. Just come home and play some Call of Duty.
I've fallen off my Xbox so much lately. I've been so busy with work that I can't play any. I can't play.
I got to play Real War.
Yeah.
Real Fake War this weekend.
That was this last weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah, we played...
at the hospital or...
No, up in Denton at D14, we had me and the crew. We were part of a fake force that was defending Denton and Texas and Oklahoma from
Federal
uh,
Army
a U.S. a
led attack.
totalitarian U.S. government that was trying to move in. So our army was all the
Guerrilla warfare people.
locals and uh, guys that had just teamed up to try to take them out and to defend our state in Denton, Oklahoma. And man, it was a fun weekend. That shit
Yeah.
burn 6,000 calories a day. Run.
What is it they say in a
steps.
soccer game? You run 7 miles on average.
I didn't.
I think they mean like professionals and stuff. Probably.
EPL probably.
They run 7 miles a game, so
it wore me out.
It didn't.
And I'm still beat up. I got bruises and all sorts of shit on me, but it's fun. You get to play dress up. You run around. Little Marlon went with us this time, and it was funny. After the first day, I was like, "You gonna come back on? It's Saturday, Sunday. You start early Saturday. You go till 8 p.m. on Saturday night. Then you get out there on Sunday. You start at like 11, and you go till 3. I was like, "You gonna come back out?" And he's like, "No, man, my knees are giving out. They hurt really bad." And I was like, everybody you're playing with is twice your age.
Yeah, get some braces, knee braces, bro.
It was funny and cute. He's like, "Man, this just wears me out. I'm just wore out."
I want to do. I kind of want to do it. I need to go to one that's an entry level though. Not
go
one
with
that's
us
for
on
a
a
big tournament one.
Don't go with because this is ticketed. It's a big ordeal, and
I
it's
don't need that.
And this is not take a break, go to your car after a couple hours of playing a capture the flag game.
Mm-hmm.
This is you start and you don't go back to your vehicle until it's time to end. You take all your stuff to your forward operating base, your FOB, and you set up there, and you don't see your vehicle until you're done. But if we go regular weekend, we'll play for like an hour, and we'll play like in a certain area, and it'll be a certain type of game, and then you go to the vehicle, you reload your ammo, you kind of rest for a minute, take a drink, then you go back out for another game, you come back, and then at lunch, you can sit down and have lunch, keep playing games or whatever. But usually when we play, we'll go out there early, and we'll leave about lunchtime, 1 o'clock, because it starts getting hot, and we'll leave for the day. And those are like $20 days, so you can go out there with us. We have so much gear.
What is the? So you got me covered.
Mm-hmm.
What's the?
We all do. I mean, with everything we got, you just got to tell us.
Do you win a prize? Did you win a prize? If you won this last one, I know you told me you advanced to some other round or something. But was there?
So the way this works,
money? Is there money involved?
There's no money involved in this. At the end, they have raffles where they give away. You get a raffle ticket, and they give away all sorts of gear, and it's a lot of stuff: guns, armor. Plate, chest plates, rigs, everything.
What if you're in close quarters? Could I shoot for the takedown and then
there is no range limit?
No, what I'm saying though is, can I go to my jiu-jitsu though and shoot and put the guy down and then mount?
You can't physically attack, but if you
break
have
his arm.
a knife on you, you can stab, and that's instant death. That person has to go all the way back to their fob.
Mm-hmm.
If you get shot, you can sit there and wait for a medic to come revive you. But there is no range limit, so you can be shot at point blank.
Yeah,
and I always shot from the
when
end
you're
of this
within.
table.
It seems like it would be more realistic if you could use your hand-to-hand combat skills too, if you were in close quarters enough. If someone was out of bullets and took his knife out.
If I had a knife, I would have knifed the guy that shot me. But I didn't have a knife, and I came around the corner, and I popped off 3 shots, and I swear I hit him. But he shot me too at the same time, so it's kind of one of those things like, did he shoot me first type thing? But he hit me right in the titty.
Yeah, I need to go to replay.
It's not as red today or bruised, but I had a big shot.
Those
in my
little
titty.
pellets do that,
dude. I had one I got hit in the forehead somewhere, wherever that is. It went right between my helmet, and my mask, and a sniper hit me, and that one pissed me off. I was like, motherfucker. I was just screaming. I was like, God, that fucking hurts. It concussed me.
You were You went to concussion protocol.
But we'll probably do some Saturdays coming up, and we'll let you know, and you can go and just hang out. It's fun. But what sucked on Saturday? Well, first off, Friday I went and saw Sosa's band Friday night at Tulips, Temporal Distortions, and I saw a little bit of Bruce Magnus, and then I left because I was like, I need sleep so I can get up in the morning on Saturday. Well, after
Sleep is so good.
I haven't had any.
I don't ever have sleep anymore.
It's.
It's
Let's get to this
ridiculous.
here in a minute.
Yeah.
Because this is how my weekend went. I went and played. Got up Saturday morning, 6 a.m. Drove up to Denton. Played. Left Denton and went straight to Mass for the Henry the Archer Cutthroat Finches show. And I can't even remember who really opened. But drove straight down there, changed clothes in the parking lot. Just stripped down the parking lot. And
Why didn't you just keep your fatigues on?
I didn't want to have to answer that many questions. But it turned out that everybody knew what I was doing anyway, so I had to answer a bunch of questions like, what are y'all doing? What's going on?
There's a war.
Does it hurt?
Yeah.
This guy got shot in the tongue, too. It's another story.
Ow. I went to it's funny because I went to a Sistine Chapel deal at the Irving Mall this weekend. And basically what they've done is
I've heard about this.
They put everything that's on the ceiling and put it out on display. So
first off, hold on. Irving Mall?
Yeah. But
I thought that place was done.
No, it's not done. They have a gym in the middle of it now.
Are there still real stores, or are they all
I think so.
Like
I think there's a few
piece
real
of shit
ones.
stores?
I think there's a few real ones. But so this, what I was thinking though is when we were leaving, I was telling Mandy that would be a good place if you could get the funds together and rent out a mall, run one of those.
Hell yeah.
Have a hostage, like have all kinds of cool stuff, like a active shooter type deal, drill and all that. Because you do it at the hospital too, right? Like a vacant hospital and all that.
Mineral Wells, the old hospital at the Army base.
So it seems like, and there's a bunch of zombie malls throughout the state. There's got to be one that they could put it together.
There is a. Hold on. E-Bike has a store down.
We need a yawn button.
We do. Because like I said, I haven't had any sleep, and I'm so tired.
Me too, brother.
And then there's a mall or a store. E-Bike is a big airsoft supplier, and they bought a shopping center down, a pretty big shopping center, down outside Spring, Texas, just before you get to Houston. And so they have a big indoor, and they've built it like part of it's like a little city going indoor, and then some of it, I've only seen part of it, but it looks pretty cool. But I'm with you. I would like the mall, take over a mall.
Airport, no Russian.
Yeah. You come down the elevator and you
got to get to an extraction point. Yeah.
That's what's funny.
You have to get picked up by a helicopter at an extraction point.
Yeah. Or you get in the van and
cool
then you shoot one of your teammates.
Ooh, there you go. Like do a deep state like CIA spy versus spy thing.
The full no Russian level.
No Russian, yeah.
Yeah.
Or just do a whole game. It doesn't have to be the Russian one, but just do one where there's double agents and stuff, and you're supposed to be a deep state character.
I still say that, like when I have to work downtown and we have to go in one of the buildings downtown, and we have to have security. You know, we're always rolling in with all this gear, and it's funny because I'll say
no Russian
when the elevator closes, and remember, no Russian. And every once in a while, like Treb gets it, you know, he laughs, but then you'll get the security guards start going, start laughing.
That's a great game. That was one of the better. That was Modern Warfare 2?
That was the best one.
Wasn't it Modern Warfare 2?
I think so too. That was the best one.
You're in a neighborhood and stuff,
but that's also the one with you're flying in the helicopter and the nuke goes off, and there's just like that whole level of you just dying.
You having to go to the White House?
Yeah, you have to go fight to the White House,
which is destroyed.
That one was great.
I wonder why they haven't reissued that one.
I thought they did. I thought they updated.
Have they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to play that again.
I'd go through it again.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. That one was fantastic. And that one was real because the EMP goes off, satellites get blown down.
Well, we're about to have an EMP go off pretty soon anyway.
It would have trained us for what's coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of why I want to go with y'all and start doing these things is because of that. Because is just to get prepared to, because when you're trying to get out, when the hardest part of when all hell breaks loose is going to be getting out of the city, and that's going to be guerrilla like warfare. It's going to be you people that are just like you trying to jack you and the federal government. Like if it could be.
I think at the beginning, you won't have an issue. You won't have
But
people.
you got to
trying
go
jack you.
then. That's when you got to go.
Yeah.
That's when you start bugging out. Right there is when that lull where people are like, "What the hell? What do we do?"
When all hell breaks loose.
Oh, they'll get
you start seeing it.
when you start hearing they'll get the bankings, the ATMs and everything start working here pretty soon. Like that? No, get out now.
Done. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
could do a whole show on end times preparation, or not end times, but the end of America preparations, because it's knocking on the door. Speaking of no Russian,
all empires come to an end.
All empires come to an end. There's never one that's just withstood the test of time, and America's no exception. Now, luckily, we live in a state that's probably going to give the bird to a lot of, like, we're going to be that rebellious freaking country that's like,
Texas will align with Mexico.
just take them over.
We
like their tacos.
Did you hear that call that they played on No Agenda?
Which one?
It was some guy calling into one of those weekend political shows, like on Sunday mornings. You know, they do those political shows, and he just, U.S. just needs to take over Mexico, and Mexico needs to become one of us because they pretty much are us, so that we can all team up and take out Cuba.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
What?
Yeah.
And Venezuela and Guatemala.
I did hear that.
It's like, okay, tap the brakes.
Yeah, it's funny because with this thing going on in the Ukraine, when you hear some of these politicians talk, you're like, you're a fucking idiot. You don't know anything about history, do you, at all? Like, not one thing about history. Like this whole let's be nice to Putin and try to work things out. That doesn't work. Not with Putin. No, you got to be you got to be a fucking alpha.
Not
to deal with him.
when someone, yeah.
You can't be a cuck.
You can't just sit there and be like, pat him on the head and stroke his ego and everything. No, this is a guy that came from the streets, from nothing, in Cold War Russia where you had to fight for loaves of bread.
KGB too?
He went into KGB. You know, he's seen the shit, and he's always been told.
And our fearless leader's trying to not shit himself.
Our fearless leader, the worst thing he's done is taken a dog and thrown it on some lady's porch.
Yeah, Biden's worried about when Luby's opens up so he can go get his Luann platter because he gets the discount.
What'd you think of that Biden story of the dog throwing it up on that lady's? That lady called him up and said, there's a dead dog in my lawn. I need someone to come get it.
It was such a weird. Why did he?
It makes no sense.
No, none of his stuff that he said.
It's not true. There's no way it's true.
The only thing that's made sense that he has put out lately, like as far as speaking goes, is edited stuff. He's saying stuff now that's people are just. Well, have you gotten to that part of the show you were talking about?
Yeah, I've listened to all of it.
So you heard when was it the British morning show?
Yeah,
was like what? Like they have a segment of. What the hell is he trying to say?
Yeah, it's turned into a bit, like a whole bit in other countries. Like,
what is he saying?
What is the president of the United States trying to say?
Did you hear that? What they played though?
Yeah,
it made no sense at all.
None.
Not one bit. And
it's as funny as I was in a canoe going down the river, eating eggs, chasing an elephant.
Yeah,
like whatever that
it's
whole
like he sounds like he's stroked out.
What? Okay, so anyway, on Sunday I went and played the second half of the game, and when I came home, I immediately I ate, took a shower, and then went over to RoboTuner's house to do his podcast. Because we did his Book of Fett roundtable wrap up. So you've seen it all.
I have.
Did you enjoy it?
I don't. Yeah, it petered off. I thought towards the end. I love the last episodes, but it's almost like they're thinking about intertwining the Mandalorian with Book of Fett because it almost turned into the Mandalorian story the last two episodes.
Well, we break it down on his show, but I can give you my opinion right here, just straight up. I think the whole thing was a mess. That's a character I've loved ever since Empire Strikes Back. You know, he was always mysterious and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Lucas fucked it up by turning him into a clone in Attack of the Clones. You know that he was a clone of Jango Fett, and I don't know. This whole thing was a complete mess. It feels like it was quickly thrown together. The story was to try to buy time for season 3 of Mandalorian.
Yeah, it's kind of the feel it started getting towards
But
the
then
end.
you
You're
had Mandalorian like 2.5 midway through it. You have
Yeah.
a whole episode where Fett's not even in it. And I don't know. There was just a lot of different ways they could have gone with it. And I feel like all this shit has too much of Disney's dick in it. And it pisses me off. Like there's too much of, we have to have a rainbow biker gang with shiny bikes. There's nothing shiny on Tatooine at all.
It's all dusty.
It's all dusty and dirty.
Colorful bikes.
And we have these rainbow bikes that just happen to be there by this mod squad. And why do we even need them around? And why do we have to see
They weren't even dressed proper. They didn't look like they for a Tatooine. They look like they were in that band that Shelby liked with the bulletproof vest. That's what they look like.
They look like they're a post-hardcore band.
Yeah.
Totally. Falling in Reverse.
Yeah, they look like Falling in Reverse.
It was all over the place. And
it really was. I still liked it though.
I liked it. I just wish the best thing was the last 3 episodes.
See, I thought the last 3 was give up time, and they were like, let's just gear this back towards Mandalorian.
Well, that's what I loved. I love the Mandalorian aspect of it. You know, you have like I said, a whole Mandalorian episode that filled in a ton of canon that needed to be there.
Yeah.
I love the first 3 episodes I love too, because you got the backstory. Now it's canon how Fett escaped the Sarlacc. How Fett got the slave one back.
I wish they would have stayed on that longer.
I wish they would have too.
That's such an interesting story.
I wish this whole season would have been stretched out. Like this war with the spice cartel was weak. It needed to be gigantic.
Yeah, it seemed like it was going to be a lot bigger.
This spice cartel was in canon. The spice cartel, the only faction that had more money than the spice cartel was the Empire. Even the Galactic Republic didn't have that much money. So for them to send 2 little scorpion droids and a couple of, squads of guys, this should have been built out to be like a 2-season story arc, at least. To where you had little fights here and there, but it turned into a big battle.
It also should have played more on the the sand people? What are those people called? The
Tuskens.
Tuskens. Should have had to do. They should have.
That's what I was going to say next.
They should have gone more into that. What happened, and more brutal of revenge, like a more revenge type.
He should, because there's a loophole of which was I didn't even think about until we did RoboTuner show, and Alex brought it up. Was in the Mandalorian, Boba Fett was back with another group of Tuskens. Because he's sitting around the campfire when Din and Cobb Vanth, Tim Oliphant's character in season 2, are sitting there trying to talk with the Tuskens and have them team up to go take out the Krat Dragon. Well, he's off to the side listening into everything and knows that Cobb Vanth has his armor.
Yeah. I'm going to watch that again because Mandy, she got into Boba Fett, and she's never been into Star Wars, period.
Yeah. Which
is weird. Well, actually, that's not weird. A lot of women in my life have not been in Star Wars.
Yeah.
But
'Cause
she,
it's a little boy thing.
but she's actually she really liked Boba Fett and stuff. And then, of course, she gets to Mandalorian, and I start telling her that's where it's at. You need to watch that one too. And I was telling her it's the same thing. You don't really necessarily have to be up on all your Star Wars knowledge to get into it. It's
No,
just
it's
a
all
good
separate
story. It's a
stuff.
good story. So I think I'm gonna probably get to. She wants to watch Mandalorian now, so I'll probably get to rip through that again.
Now, the other thing I liked about the last 3 episodes was you had
See, I thought the first 3 were the best.
you had Cad Bane show up.
Yeah,
which
that was except for that. I forgot about that.
And his little shootout with
I'm scared
Cobb Vanth.
still.
Cad Bane in a physical form is badass because he's been in a cartoon. And for those, like I said on the show, for those that don't know why it's a big deal for him to show up, was Cad Bane basically took in Boba Fett after his father was killed, after Jango Fett was killed, and showed Boba Fett the criminal underworld and how it worked and got him into bounty hunting. So he was kind of Boba Fett was his apprentice, was Cad Bane's apprentice until they fell apart in the Clone Wars and Rebels. And Cad Bane, just being the asshole he is, started framing Boba Fett for stuff, young Boba Fett for things, and trying to get him to take the rap for some of the
Stuff he had
crime
done.
stuff he was doing. And they have had a shootout before. That's why, and we've said that on the show, that's why there's a dent in Boba Fett's helmet, because that's from Cad Bane's blaster hitting him in the head. So that whole scene of them fighting was cool, and then for it to come down to we're going to bring back the Tusken training, and that move he was doing on that Tusken that was training him, which the other night we were trying to figure out, was that Tusken a male or female?
I thought it seemed. I thought it was a female.
It may have been. I didn't really pay attention. I was more just
Maybe
like,
it's non-binary.
Maybe it is. Maybe Tuskens don't have parts.
But that staff, those Tusken staffs are fucking awesome, man.
Yeah,
I'd like to
and
get
you
one
get
of
to
those.
forge them. It's like another thing I said the other night was what the whole Tusken backstory is. Basically your the same as your white man going to your Dances with Wolves story. It's your white man going to see Native Americans and becoming part of their tribe, and then eventually getting to forge his own weapon through their ancestry. And I was like, that's so badass, because I mean, this was a true Western with a little bit of, Japanese samurai history pitched in here and there. But I was like, I don't know. It was good. I just think it was too convoluted. Mandalorian's been way better as far as story goes.
I agree.
You do have your weird little side missions in Mandalorian, but yeah, Fett was a little.
Did you start crying when he went?
Well,
and almost saw him again, and then gave.
Okay, so the very last episode, spoilers. The very last episode, the second scene is the X-wing flying into Tatooine.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like,
yeah,
Luke's coming back.
Yeah,
and you see R2, right on top.
Was
so
that
you
a
knew
real?
it was Luke.
That kid that was playing Luke, is that a kid or is that CG?
So the guy in the 2 episodes with Luke, there's actually 2 actors that play him on screen, and then they put the deep fake face, CG face on him.
Oh, they did.
So he
looked real,
and he looks. If you go look the 2 guys up, they look pretty close to him. It's not the same guy that played him in Mandalorian in that final episode.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of talk that the whole thing was CG, and it's not. He had 2 stand-ins, one doing all the back flips and action stunts, and another one just doing the stand-around stuff. But ILM went and hunted down that dude that's been doing that. Basically, is the king of deepfake technology.
Mm-hmm.
That made all those speeches and porns and stuff. He was making all that crazy stuff. They went and hunted him down and hired him, and were like, "Hey, we want you for all this."
Wow.
So he's in their deal. And then, did you stick around for the credits after the last one?
Like, was there post credits a scene? I might have. I don't.
It's a scene in Jabba's palace, and Boba Fett makes a hint to it that says, the Bacta tank or Bacta tank is being used right now. And they cut back to the Jabba's palace, and inside the Bacta tank is Cobb Vanth, Timothy Oliphant, and the mod,
I'll have to watch that tonight.
the mod that saved Fennec Shan, Thundercat. He's standing over him with a scalpel, like he's about to do an operation on him and save him and everything. So I'm like, are we gonna get a Cobb Vanth spinoff? Because he's a character that's been around the universe for a while. He's in.
Who's he?
He's that sheriff of the town. You know.
The dude that was in a what's it called? Deadwood, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that character.
He now refresh me too. How did didn't he have Mandalorian armor?
He had Boba Fett's armor that
Right.
he purchased from the Jawas.
And
when the Jawas stripped Boba Fett,
that's where it ended up.
He got with the Jawas, and it's in Mandalorian where he got him.
It's Mandalorian, and it wasn't Boba Fett. It was Mandalorian, wasn't it? Yeah.
He got the armor.
And Mandalorian, he was like, "You got to give that back to me. Like, I have to take this."
Yeah, you can't have it.
You can't have it.
And when they killed the Krat dragon,
he gave it to him.
He gave it to him. Yeah.
Yeah, man, Mandalorian is the shit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's another thing too. Is you've got it's kind of like when Walking Dead spun off Fear of the Walking Dead. You know.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same thing, and it just wasn't on par. I think maybe that's what we're experiencing. Is Mandalorian's really good, and they've chosen really good storylines, and the characters that they've gotten to play, like Bill Burr, like all the cameos and stuff are amazing. And I think Mandalorian is just another level of a show.
Well, yeah, and I still think this was thrown together, and I think I'm not a fan of Robert Rodriguez. I'm not a fan of him being a director. Dusk Till Dawn is good, but some of the other shit. I mean, he did Spy Kids and all that.
Who directed Mandalorian? Is that all Favreau, or did he just write it?
Hillman Filoni wrote it, but there's a bunch of different directors in there because I think the best episode of this, second. I think 6 and 7 are my favorite, just because of all the lore that's put in there. But like Dallas Bryce Howard has done my favorite episodes of The Mandalorian and my favorite episodes of Boba Fett.
Which one of Boba Fett did he do?
Did she do?
She do.
Don't mess that up. She's hot.
She might be non-binary, man. I try to refrain from putting these pronouns on people, but
you know who she is, right?
Who is she?
She's in Jurassic World, the redhead.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, this is one of my gripes with Star Wars.
Uh-huh. She's Ron Howard's daughter, too.
I don't like the tag team directors. I don't mind if they want to do a trilogy with one director and then the next trilogy do it with another.
Yeah.
But what they did with the last few Star Wars movies the releases that came out, I was like, stop doing this. We don't need a different director, like a badge of honor for them, but it fucking sucks for us as fans.
And you had Rian Johnson just fuck everything up.
No, yeah,
and
exactly.
Now they're giving him a trilogy of something.
Of Star Wars related?
Yeah.
Or Star Trek?
Of Star Wars related. I don't know. Anyway, so today,
He's the one that started dicking with the legacy story.
Yeah. And Jedi powers and what they can and can't do. Today, this little flyer was thrown out because Obi-Wan is next on our map. And it was supposed to be a movie. Originally, it's a movie. But all this came out today. It's now a limited series of 6 episodes.
Is going to be on HBO or Disney? Again?
Disney. It'll premiere May 25th, 2022, which Disney fucked that up because they should have released it on May 4th. But their marketing department's stupid. May 25th.
Oh.
2022. It's set 10 years after the events of Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. And, of course, Ewan McGregor is Obi-Wan. Hayden Christensen will be Anakin and Darth Vader. Joel Edgerton, who was young Owen Lars, and Bonnie, is her name Peace? Whatever, is going to be Aunt Beru, the young Aunt Beru.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, O'Shea Jackson Jr. landed his part after auditioning for the role of Lando in Solo Can you imagine Ice Cube's son being Lando? So he's going to be a different character in this, not Lando. It says in here, Ewan interacted with Christensen as both Darth Vader and Anakin Skywalker. There will be a fight scene between Obi-Wan and Vader, and it's being labeled as the rematch of the century, which is weird.
It'll be good.
Uh,
They can't fuck that up.
McGregor said reuniting with Christensen on this series was the most beautiful thing of all. John Williams actually composed this theme, and he's returning to. This is the first time he's returning to a weekly series, scoring a weekly series television after 37 years. And the rumors going is that Jimmy Smits has an appearance as Bail Organa. Luke and Leia will appear as 10-year-old kids. Vader and Obi-Wan, of course, fight one more time. And there will be several flashbacks to the Order 66. So that's another thing that blew my mind in the episode with Luke Skywalker and the young Great Grogu was when Luke had him flashback to Order 66.
Mm-hmm.
So
So,
awesome.
what is the what's the situation with the Vader series that they were rumored to be maybe putting out?
Because I went and looked to see what was still on Disney's plate, what they were doing, because they canceled. What was
Canceled, closed.
What was the? Oh yeah, that was right. The girl that plays Aunt Beru, that Bonnie Pace, was the one that was in the Nexium series. The young girl. I forgot about that. RoboTuner. What was the? Was it Republic Commandos? They canceled because of.
That's about the clones.
Because of Gina Carano and her crazy ass. It was about her being a Republic officer, going to be a.
And they just canceled it because she got canceled.
Yeah, because she got canceled, so they canceled the whole show.
So stupid. How frustrating.
But you still have the Ahsoka series, and there's an X-Wing series that's on hold. Rogue Squadron. And they're talking about there's supposed to be some series coming out that is going to be.
They're bringing the Ewoks back.
No, it's going to be like Star Killer in Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Where it's a bad guy.
Oh, okay.
A bad Force user running around killing everybody.
I wish that Boba Fett would have expanded too on that Wookiee, that crazy ass Wookiee.
That would
they just kind of like, oh hey, this guy's good now. What?
Well, he's pay for play. That's the way it is in the bounty hunter world.
But still, I wish they would have gotten into more of his rage and like just him as a character and stuff. Because the Wookiees, there's some crazy ass Wookiees. Like the ancient Wookiees?
I wish this Boba Fett series would lead up to the Bounty Hunter Guild and the Bounty Hunter Wars and the fight against Black Sun. That'd be awesome.
Yeah. It's just so big.
It is big. There's a big universe to play with.
Very big.
Very big. So big. So
big.
huge.
So big. So white.
Huge. Have you watched Peacemaker?
No.
You've got to start this.
Do I?
Oh my god.
That one's streaming on HBO. Yeah.
You got?
Can I just jump in?
Yeah, because the very first episode goes previously on the Suicide Squad, and it shows
I haven't watched that.
No, it shows you his entire role of what happened on Suicide Squad.
Okay.
And what he went through and everything. But you're talking about the Peacemaker was a real DC character, and he's like the anti-Superman, Batman, all Wonder Woman shit, Aquaman. He is the party drinking, just banging chicks left and right, going nuts and getting himself in trouble.
Like what's his name? Like Daredevil or whatever? Or
no, this guy, he's out of control. But it's so fucking funny and so great. And
I'll check it out.
This last episode, the whole season's out, so you can watch it from front to back. The other thing is, his dad is the White Dragon, and yes, he's a Grand Dragon of the Clan, which was an actual character in the DC world. The DC world once had a Clan character, and it's fucking awesome. James Gunn did it, who did Guardians of the Galaxy. Mm-hmm. So everything is tongue in cheek, and it's so freaking good. and
I think
funny.
I was talking about this the other day. I'm Marvel, the big features now. The best thing that I think they've done in the last 5 years was Loki, and the features now. I just almost can't watch it because there's too many one-liners now. After every action scene, it's like, doof, 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 doof. Let's say something smart ass, and then next scene, it's like, dude, you don't have to do it every single. That's what makes those one-liners good, is when it's just random.
Yeah.
But now everyone that keeps directing these Marvel Avengers is mainly the Avengers. The Avengers are the worst offenders of this. The writers, and it's just it gets old. You're like, I can't take this. These one-liners, they're not good. And when you do it every other sequence, it loses its effect.
Well, this is dark humor, and it's very.
I don't mind dark.
It's let's just say all of a sudden you and I were superheroes and we went from doing this podcast to going around town trying to save people or something. It's kind of like that. It's like it's just it's hilarious. It's great. So it's very.
I'll check it out.
It's
you took
funny.
You took my tip and you checked out that Most Wanted show, and I'll check this out.
And the other thing is, what's great about it is, it's all. He's like a huge '80s hair metal head.
Oh, so there's all kinds of cool music.
Oh my god, all sorts of cool music in it. There's a whole scene. Like the intro scene is hilarious. They do this crazy dance for the intro.
Yeah,
and it's some crazy hair metal song that I think is new. But then he'll start going through Striper and Firehouse. And it's
which Striper song?
Great. I can't
Is it To
remember.
Hell with the Devil?
No, it went To Hell with the Devil. But it's great. It's freaking awesome.
All right.
It's really good.
So while we're still talking about, before we move on, while we're talking about what we did on the weekend, I did something I haven't done in probably 10 years.
I need
maybe more.
No,
let's see. When was I married?
We need to stop this down and figure all this out because these pictures.
It's been a minute.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody was confused by it.
Yep. Went to the house of the Lord. Went to church on a Sunday.
What brought this on?
Just whatever. I didn't have anything to do. I told Mandy I would.
Football's over.
Yeah, football's over. So, yeah, it was crazy because a lot has changed, I guess, with church and stuff now, and it was right up the road, right by the where we used to rehearse, that community Oasis community.
One.
Yeah,
that's where my dad used to go. My biological dad.
Yeah,
it used to be a different place.
Oh yeah, it used to be a different church.
That's where
building's been there for
my
a
brother
while.
was married there. So
really?
I went there
That's
for
cool.
Well,
it was weird just going to church again. But it's you know what I kept thinking about during, one, I told you, the gear.
It's terrible.
Yeah. It's terrible. And I almost feel sorry for them, like what they're doing and stuff music wise, and want to help them, but I can't.
Our buddy Aaron has taken my advice, and he plays in his church band, and he has upgraded to dark glass gear just so he can be a badass on stage with his church band.
Well, that's good. He should.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought. I was like, man, I could just bring my JCM, my 100-watt Marshall, and donate it, and then show the guy how to get some juice, like dime it.
So hold on, I didn't realize you went to that place.
Yeah, I went to that place. I didn't know it was going to be there. It's just it happened. That's where Mandy goes to church.
So when my father was going there, my biological father,
your black dad,
when he lived here,
not your black dad.
He's
blind,
and
he's gay.
Brother was going there. He would tell me they would be. Like the preacher would be up there having a sermon, and he would say something like, and blah blah blah, and we shouldn't have sympathy for the devil, and then the band would start playing it, and they would break out and play like a few bars of sympathy.
There was nothing like that happened.
It wasn't.
That'd have been awesome.
Like he's like, it was very weird. Like they would just break out into song in the middle of the sermon.
No, they didn't. There There wasn't much of that. It was I couldn't even hear the guitars, honestly. That's what was. I was all you could hear. Okay, see, here's my problem with the drum cages or the drum where they put the like Jesse did. I have a theory about that. Why you don't use that in live sound? I know why they do. I know why churches do it. It's because the drums can be, if you're not used
Really
to playing,
fucking loud.
yeah, it can be loud to some people. But I think what happens though and this is kind of why I hated it when Jesse did it with us, is you getting in this cocoon and you tend to start playing louder as a drummer because you think that you're not striking through, but you are. And then
that comes down to being a good disciplined drummer.
Right.
Not being an a-hole.
That's what exactly what one of my arguments is. Just learn how to play drums. You hit it like when you go. Every time I've helped in the studio and I've been helping with drums, like with Tacky and even in here with you, if I'm hitting the drum, you'll always say, "All right, give me some heat on it." Smack it.
Yeah.
And then hit it light. I mean, you just got to learn how to do that. You don't need a drum cage or whatever those plexiglass things are. Drum shields.
We have a good friend that tours the world as a drummer,
and is in a church band,
and he's in a church band that won't play with them. But he says the same thing. It's like you just got to be disciplined.
Yeah, you just got to be disciplined
and know what you're doing.
Right.
That's just part of it. And he's an extremely accomplished and disciplined drummer.
I didn't like this either. The guitarist just had a pedal board, and I was looking for his amp. And I was like, this motherfucker's going into the main direct. He's going direct. That's the other thing is I think some of these churches, they can't afford people that know how to run sound, and
get
so
kids up there.
Yeah, they just get anybody up there will volunteer, and unfortunately, so that was my one takeaway. And then secondly, I went in packing. Too much bad shit happening at church. I think it's smart.
You can do that though.
I think it's smart.
They didn't have a 30-3 sign up, did they?
Oh, I didn't. Those mean nothing to me, by the way. Absolutely nothing.
Those are gonna stop bad guys.
Yeah.
If a bad guy's walking to a church,
I gotta go take my gun back to the car. Hold on, guys.
You know what? I'm gonna go shoot everybody in this church. Oh shit! There's a sign up.
Same with bars, though.
Yeah, total same
it's
with
like,
bars.
Oh, guys, I can't come in here. I got to go put my gun back up.
But I understand the bars. You start drinking, you get into a heated
True.
argument.
We can't have the wild, wild west. But like I said, those signs mean nothing to me. But anyway, so that was surreal. Is having my heat right here by my dong in church.
You're in a church.
Yeah. But I also felt it was the right thing to do. It could have been one of those. We just had Colleyville happen. So.
Yeah.
And there's been a brutal church shooting here in Fort Worth.
On 820. Well,
exactly.
There was the one we had not too long ago on 820 where there were people actually packing in the church and took the guy out. Now, one of them did die.
But in the 90s, or was it the 90s or
it was
2000s?
90s. The church down there.
Brownwood or whatever?
Wedgwood.
Wedgwood, yeah.
The Wedgwood church shooting.
Exactly. So I think if you are someone that has a concealed and you're a responsible person, I think you should take them to church because that's bullshit when people go to worship. I mean, you saw that Christchurch video. I couldn't even watch that.
Yep.
It's this. So I felt like
that's a town in Australia.
What?
Christchurch, Australia.
No, it's New Zealand, isn't it?
Or New Zealand, yeah.
Yeah,
sorry.
The shooting there.
In the mosque.
Yeah, in the mosque. What did I do? What did I say? Did I say something wrong?
You saw it at the Christchurch, right?
Well, you saw the Christchurch video.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it.
No, I watched.
That happens
I watched
all
the beginning of it.
All these bad. Remember when we were out at Texas, when we were at AT&T, and that shooting happened out in West Texas, and all of a sudden everybody's phones lit up, and we're like, "Oh shit!"
Oh yeah.
We're in the media room.
Bring, bring, bring,
Yeah.
bring, 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 bring.
But so that was weird. And then secondly, it made me realize that this is what we have to fight against as a society is people's right to do that. And man, honestly, Christians are attacked.
Oh yeah.
It's like
it's not
it's
just
open
Christians,
seasons.
It's everybody.
I don't know, man. It seems like the progressives and the left, like they have had anything Christian movement does is just like all the other stuff, racist, Nazi.
You can't. I don't see that because you just had the Jewish thing happen in Colleyville. That was at a Jewish synagogue, and you've had the mosques in Fort Worth attacked quite a few times.
Okay.
So I think any religion
It is
whatsoever is pretty much open. You're going to have hate groups against any religion.
Well, that's what I'm talking about, though.
Yeah, it's not just Christian.
No. Worldwide, I'd say that Christians are attacked more than any other religion right
Probably
now.
so, because per capita, there's more of them than anything.
Catholics.
Well, Catholic is a form of Christianity.
Well, no.
It falls in there.
Yeah, I guess, but you still have Protestant religions and you have Catholic religions, right?
So Catholicism falls into that.
My point
but
is,
Jesus was a Jew.
Let's don't get into that.
Oh.
My point was this, though. It just hit me. I was like, man, these people just want to come here and have their little therapy because they don't have a podcast. They just want to come here because this one lady got up and started talking about something that happened to her during the week. It was real sad and everything. And I'm like, man, this is these people's podcast. This is their little therapeutic. This is them getting together and all that. And it's attacked now. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, y'all having lunch after this?
Their little eating room area is kind of weird.
I didn't go into.
You didn't go back there?
No, we just went in and went out.
One of the rooms I stored my camera gear in had a whole shit ton of toys in it and a bunch of Legos, and I was like, "What the hell?" And it was all for.
I didn't get struck by lightning.
Good.
I didn't. I wanted to. See. We went in right as they were starting, so. But I was gonna go in and go like what we do in the shadows.
And you just start. You're losing energy. Why is he dying?
Yeah, or start burning. Like my chest starts burning. But it didn't happen. It was a nice time.
Well,
and
can I add to your story?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead if you want to add to it.
I went to a church.
Oh, you did?
2 weeks ago. Not this
shooting
weekend.
Thing?
2 weekends ago. No. One of my former compadres that I did went to school with and went through Cable 28 with and did a bunch of video work and stuff.
Wait a second.
Passed away.
Doesn't count. That does not count. Weddings and funerals do not count as going to church, and neither does Christmas, whatever, candlelight.
Vigil?
Yeah,
candlelight,
so
whatever.
You can't count that.
Well,
I actually went to a full-on service.
Well, I'm not going to count this as a full-on service, but I went in that Centerpoint church over here off Mid-Cities and Smithfield Road.
Where's that at?
Where Mid-Cities comes up and hits
Smithfield? Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
The funny thing is the wake for...
Did you go get barbecue afterwards?
No, the wake for it was at Texas Billiards. But I couldn't.
Oh, was it?
Go.
What was your friend's? Well, we can talk about it afterwards.
But he used to go to Texas Billiards all the time. But anyway, I went to the wake, or went to the funeral at the church, and I was expecting a normal funeral service, like it's about 30 minutes, whatever. This one went over an hour. A lot of people got up there and talked.
Weddings and funerals need to have 15-minute caps.
Well, I don't know. You're saying goodbye to someone, and it is in memory of them. And it's like you said.
15 minutes, buddy.
It's like what you said. This is their podcast to get stuff off their chest. Mm-hmm. They get to say goodbye, and they get to say it in their way. And his best friend, we all went to school with together, and his best friend got up there and gave this crazy eulogy that was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And our old teacher was there.
The one that touched you?
No, Mr. White's badass. We talked. We had good conversation afterwards. We talked for almost an hour
Just get
afterwards.
stuff, Dustin.
But he's the one that he was second behind Christy McCullough. He had gone through all the training and everything, and was that close to being. If Christy McCullough got sick, and then the next girl got sick, he would have been next on the Challenger.
Wow.
Yeah. So we were. I want to talk about this funeral because church is weird now. Like,
yeah, they don't have. There's no Bibles. There wasn't any Bibles, which is weird.
Everything's digital.
Yeah, everybody has their apps and their their tablets and their phones,
and he would
read the Bible that way.
To scriptures that I knew from growing up. I knew what they were. I knew where they were, but he would never say like 1 John 7:14. He would never say the book, chapter, verse. He would just start saying, you know, the Bible tells us, and he starts reading off, and I'm like, well, that's Matthew 4:8 or something like that. But I'm like, you're not. It's kind of weird. You're not saying where it's from. I come from an upbringing of you need to tell us where it's coming from, where you're getting this from, so that way we can go back and look at it, or
outline
like, oh,
it
okay,
or highlight it.
It's kind of like having factual proof of what you're saying.
Right.
You're not just saying, in the book of Revelations it says, in the final days, Jerry Jones will be the Antichrist. You're not you're not just throwing shit out like there. So
yeah,
it's weird. Like he wasn't doing anything. Everything was from a tablet. And he did.
Yeah, I don't like that.
He did 3 prayers, and he read all 3 prayers from a fucking tablet.
Yeah, I don't like that.
I was raised where the prayer is supposed to come from your heart.
Yeah, it's supposed to be emotional.
From what you say on your heart when you feel it at that time. 2 of the times I didn't know he was going to prayer. He never said, "Let's pray," or "Will you bow with me?" He never said that. He just started going through it. And then, about halfway through, you're like, oh, this is a prayer. And then he says amen at the end. But I watched him read it all. Read everything.
Yeah, that's weird.
Now, he also had...
I can see a pre-written prayer or outlines.
I know it's called book, chapter, and verse. I fucking spent my entire childhood in church.
I know. So I agree with you about the prayer thing, about how it's weird when someone's reading a prayer. But if it's a big event, like you're at Bernie Sanders' event, I say it's okay to have some notes on that prayer, not just one that you're just spinning off at a funeral.
At a funeral,
yeah, that's weird.
Now he also had the Garth Brooks microphone, the little stick to a ball, so he could run around the stage and be animated. He had a wireless pack on him.
Is this the preacher?
The preacher. He could run around and be animated and do stuff and talk.
Okay.
And he didn't really know my buddy that had died. He knew my buddy's family and his brother.
Mm-hmm.
So he's kind of just saying all this stuff about him. And there's nothing I hate more than funerals where people get up there and talk and they know nothing about you.
Well, but you got to understand, when a family's grieving and they want to keep it close. So that happens a lot at funerals and weddings. You have and this brings me to my next point that I wanted to make
also,
about church.
If someone doesn't go to church,
right?
I guess, and you need a place for them to go, that makes sense. They're not going to know. But instead of him talking, I would have rather, can we use your facility and we'll have our friends and family talk?
Yeah. Kind of like, that's what we did at my sister's graveside.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Here's another church observation. And I think, so church has gotten watered down a bit, and it's because of these satellite churches and stuff that just spring up wherever. A Walgreens closes, and I'm not talking about the one I just went to. That preacher was great.
Yeah.
But ever since it became available to anyone that can just go online and become ordained.
Yeah.
Well, you've had
to the spaghetti monster church.
Back when we were kids, your preachers went to theology school, like went to Texas Wesleyan or DBU, and studied, the history of the Bible and all that good stuff. Yeah. And then you felt like you were listening to someone that was knowledgeable about the subject, kind of like what you're talking about. This guy was just randomly saying, and we know what the Bible says about this, like that. No, you had a guy that studied, went to seminary school, and then came out and was like, if you turn here, this is why we say this, right? Kind of like what you're saying. And also, these Christian faith has gotten away from the King James version because people can't understand it, so they got to have the interpreted one.
You have New World translations that make it more common.
That's fine.
It's easier to find. That it's pretty close to King James version.
But yeah, exactly. Well, yeah,
it just changes the and thou.
Makes it easier
it
makes it easier
to talk,
right?
Because it's easier with modern day tongue.
I kind of like my traditional church that's reading from the King James, and also I like this too. I like the full-on choir, the real organ, the real piano player.
Yeah,
like the real deal.
How about the
Amazing Grace?
How about the entire
those Southern
congregation
gospel songs
singing?
Right,
Everybody
right,
that's
right,
there
right, right.
singing. You actually have a songbook.
These songs that some of these satellite churches and these churches are putting, like these praise team people, they're fake. You see right through them, and their words that they make, the shit like they write. You're like, okay, that's this song we're singing sounds like it was wrote by a third grader.
Money grab.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
And taxation.
For sure.
Taxation
for
to
sure.
get rich.
That's the thing that that's one of what I'm talking about is it's become too easy to be get that tax write off and make money off of people that are duped. So my church and this guy was I enjoyed listening to him and stuff. But when I go to church, I want to hear from a preacher that he or she knows more than me about the topic and shed some lights on some things. I don't want to sit there and go, this dude doesn't know what he's talking. This is horseshit. Like this guy's about as dumb as a box of rocks. Like I don't want to do that. Same with the music. Used to, you had to be a music minister. Now it's just like, yeah, I've always wanted to be in a band.
Let's get together and let's write these covers and we'll rewrite the words. We'll make them our own. That's what a lot of bands do.
Yeah.
We're going to do covers. And we're
change the words.
Change the words up to where they're...
Make a contemporary rock song into a Christian song.
Into a Christian song, you know.
Well,
can I tell you what happened at this?
At your funeral? Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so there was everybody got up there and talked, and then my other buddy got up there that was, I'm not saying any names right now.
He's blind.
Just because. And he was gay. No, I mean, he's blind.
What?
I mean, he's gay.
He's blind.
I mean, he's blind.
Gay.
But he climbed Mount Everest. He got up there, and he did this whole spiel. And his spiel, without getting into detail, he came right out of the fence swinging like, this is why we're here today. This is why he died. And it was dark, like, oh, shit. And he goes, and I'll tell you the rest of it off the air, but it was one of those things like
almost like he's judging people while he's speaking.
Well, I can say why. Or I can say what it is because I'm not giving away names. But he gets up there and he says, such and such would be with us here today.
If you just trust the Lord.
Hold on. He started it out with saying, the toxicology results won't be in still for a few more weeks, but such and such would be with us here today if he hadn't drank himself to death. And he did it on purpose.
Yeah, it's not a good thing to be bringing up
like,
at a funeral.
And he goes, I need to bring that up so you guys know why he did it and where it went. And I'll tell you this backstory. So he told this whole backstory of basically what led him to that. It was like leading up to his depression and a lot of people trying to reach out and help him. And
was he trying to guilt the congregation?
No, not at all. He just wanted people to know that this is, and in the end, it was this whole like good moral story of like, if there are people reaching out for help, keep helping them. Don't just give up. Don't just stop.
So it was a positive message.
It ended up being a positive message at the end. It wasn't
Gotcha.
just like, I'm shitting on my best friend because this is what he did. It was it was a whole positive message at the end. And it was constructed brilliantly. It was perfect. The whole thing was perfect.
Except for the Garth Brooks mic.
Well, no, that wasn't the preacher was an asshole, and I'm going to get to that right now.
Oh, you're talking about someone that got up and
his best friend said
was
this.
Speaking. Okay, gotcha.
His best friend said this.
I thought we were still talking about preachers.
No. So then his best friend gets done, and the preacher gets up there, and he gives some more encouraging words of blah blah blah. We're all friends here, and look at everybody that turned out, and y'all are all here for each other, and blah blah blah. Then it turned into 30 fucking minutes of him trying to sell the church to the crowd.
Yeah, I don't like it when it gets hijacked for the cause, a funeral.
What they do there.
Or a marriage, a wedding.
What they do there, what goes on there, who's allowed to come there, who's accepted, blah, blah, blah. We meet at these times on these days.
Here's our website.
And this is me. When all this started kicking in, I kicked back in my chair, and I'm about 6 rows back, and he keeps looking, and I'm on the aisle. And he keeps
making eye contact with you?
Yeah, he keeps, as he's looking around, his eye contact is coming straight to me. I go, I cross my arms, start shaking my head.
You're like, I'm done.
I'm done.
Boy.
4 people got up and left.
Yeah, that's annoying.
4 people
at a funeral,
got
especially
up
at a funeral.
and
That's
fucking
annoying
left.
when they start shoehorning their
So-
church in there. Yeah.
It took him a couple of minutes, and he's just kind of like, oh shit, okay, well, and he wrapped it up because people were leaving. I'm sitting there going, people just started going, and I heard
People sign. Yeah.
you know. So then afterwards, everything was cool afterwards. But another thing I want to talk about is, why does a church need better lighting than all the clubs in DFW? All these rock clubs, all these like motion lighting, dramatic lighting, shit that moves around, and you gotta, it auto follows, tracking the guy, the preacher up there as he's walking back and forth. What the fuck? Better, they spend more money on lighting than any of the clubs we go to.
Yeah, well, they also spend a lot on their sound system. They just don't hire the guy to run it right, and so it sounds like ass.
Yeah, when you start seeing the little shark fins sticking up,
Yeah,
for their little wireless sound
Yeah,
devices, you're like, am I at Tool or am I at a church? Like,
yeah.
why the fuck do we have shark fins everywhere? I don't know. It was pretty wild, and that church is just a small. And your church, the church you went to, just a small to medium sized church. Imagine going to one of these mega churches.
Oh well, my
Seeing what the
parents did.
fuck
My
they
parents
have in
went
'em.
to a big church in Arlington, Fielder Road, and it's insane. It's like, come on, man, like
Just ridiculous.
And when I lived in Houston, my parents went to a really big church down there. I think it was actually the one that Homeboy took over.
I was going to ask you, should we make a field trip?
To Osteen took over.
Should we make a field trip to Copeland and to Olstein and compare them?
No.
Well, Copeland, I'm probably on a board
Yeah.
out there that if you see this guy's face, he's
No,
still
I
on
want
site.
to honestly. I just want to live leave the whole religious people alone. Let them do their thing. That's why we're in America. That's the main thought I had was, dude, this is why we need to get our shit in order because we lose the way the way our country is headed right now, which you and I pretty much are on the same page as this thing's dissolving right in front of us. The church will go, like it will be. There'll be some state church that they roll out, some freaking woke church. You have a woke Bible or something that will be rolled out pretty soon, and if you that's the scariest thing. That's why people need to speak their mind, vote, and train in guns and hand-to-hand combat because
We're going to need them at church.
good.
So it's funny. You're kind of dwelling off into an article I have for the show. You're kind of segueing into it.
Mm-hmm.
So this article came up, and it's in the Moscow Times. And
No Russian.
It's talking about how that thousands of Russians are crossing the Mexican border and coming into America for they're seeking refuge. And it talks about, so I was, and no secret, I was raised Jehovah's Witness, and over there Jehovah's Witnesses are done. Like you are completely banned. Yeah, and they have been for decades. They still
Why
they still
they're
mean
not a
that
like this
government's
is not
against
Muslim, not Catholic, not any. We're done.
the government's against it, and they persecute them, and they'll take them and send them to Siberia and
It's like a Uyghur camp.
go through. They send them to prisons. They're just a very.
That's what I'm
They're
saying.
super
it's weird.
repressed. So they're being a Jehovah's Witness is completely banned in Russia. So what a lot of them do is, along with a lot of these political descendants that live in Russia that don't fall under Putin's command, Cancun is a huge vacation spot for Russians
And Australians
and French.
and Americans.
So what they'll do is they'll fly over to Cancun and they'll have it prearranged to. There are Mexican groups there that will basically mule them across Mexico to Tijuana and bring them up into Canada.
Huh.
So it's like a 2,000-mile journey from Cancun to Tijuana through the heart of Mexico, through hardcore cartel country, for them to make it up to the border and then to ease into the border. And usually the paperwork will this whole group in Mexico will give them a car, give them paperwork, get them everything to try to get them across the border. Last year, it says here that the U.S. Customs and Border Protection has stopped 4,103 Russian citizens and detained them at the border in the year from the beginning of the year to October of 2021, and that was a tenfold increase from the year before. And then it's gotten so crazy that it says here that the California Capitol building has set up a pretty much like it's been set up like a Russian consulate. It's there's so many Russians coming into California that and seeking political asylum that it's just a daily thing in the California Capitol of getting these people, making these people become or allowing these people to become American citizens. But it's like a $2,500 full package. You pay for a Mexican visa, they meet you at the airport, and they drive you across the border.
Have you listened to any of these Eastern Bloc people and Russians and stuff that have come to our country and talked on these shows and stuff about
Only at strip clubs?
Yeah, unfortunately, yes, me too. But they're so awesome. They're bad shit, but anyway, yes. You hear them say, "What is happening to your country? You do not want."
Yeah.
They're like they come in conservative. That's the thing that's funny. It's going to bite the Democrats in the ass. Is they think opening the borders is going to help them. No, it's not. It's not going to help you.
This article,
I don't mind that. I don't mind that people can come into our country. You know, I'm not a big wall, close the borders guy, but the horse shit that they think is going to happen, that they're going to come over here and be like, "Hey, was it Joe Biden that and Kamala that opened up the border so I could come here?" Man, you know what? I think I'm going to vote Democrat the rest of my life now. They're not even thinking about that.
No. And you got to
They
remember,
don't even know who Oatmeal Brain is.
You got to remember that most of everything south of our border, most of those people, back to the religion thing, were raised Catholic.
Yeah.
The Catholicism is super conservative. And a lot of the beliefs that you're raised with down there, and those people are super religious, super religious, and believe in their saints and their mothers and all that. That holds to them. So you come across the border and all of a sudden you're legal and you can vote, and you see what
Oatmeal Brain, you're like,
it's
I'm
not
not
even
voting
that.
for him.
You look at the party and how they align and how abortion is a big thing in Catholicism.
Yeah, big deal. You can't even use a rubber.
Yeah, they're not open to all this abortion stuff. So they immediately fall to the right and go conservative. So, yeah, I don't understand what they're thinking, or like
They're not
realizing that these people are not as left and loose as they think they are.
They're not.
And like we've said a million times on here, and it's been backed up by research and talking to people, that Mexicans in America look down on Mexicans south of the border.
Yeah.
They
turn their nose up at them.
They turn their nose at them. There is
especially the ones that
level of I'm better than you because I made it here.
Especially the ones that are just coming now.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I think the majority of what's coming across the border right now, though, is like you said, Russians and people like Somalians and.
But what is Russia?
Tuscans.
Russia's Catholic.
Well, they also have the Russian Orthodox. It's
a break
Jewish,
off,
isn't it?
Is it?
There's
Russia?
A bunch of crazy.
See, that's. I forgot what it broke off from.
Yeah, it's a lot like America, I think, as far as Catholics and Christians. I don't know. We'll find out when we go to Chernobyl next week.
I've been waiting for you to say. I even talked about that on RoboTuner show, trying to get you to go over there.
I told you I'm down. You said you were paying for it. I'm in.
Let's go right now.
Yeah, I'm in. I don't think shit's gonna happen. Honestly, I think this is just gonna be a peaceful takeover, kind of, or not peaceful, but they're. I don't think the Ukrainians are gonna fight.
So
I think
what?
the Ukrainians are gonna be like, here, whatever.
So yesterday, I got really confused on what Putin did. I didn't understand it when it went down. Everybody's like, "Oh my god! Oh my god! What just? I've never seen this in my life." Everybody's like,
the independent.
I've never seen this.
Are you talking about the territories in the Ukraine?
Yeah. So I had to go sit down and do a lot of research. And so basically, yes, he annexed the territories in the Donbass region, which, can we get on the same page? Is it 1S or 2? Every news channel spells it wrong.
It's just like Kyiv.
Which
and
one
Kyiv,
is it? Yeah.
Like, well, okay.
Is it
the Russians
1S
say it one way and the
or
others
2?
say Kyiv, yeah.
If you look on Google Maps, it's 1S. If you look in ABC News, it's 2 S's.
But you're also talking about the same media that is working in Dallas that will say Mexia when they're talking about Mahia.
I'm not talking about WFA. I'm talking about ABC News, the giant, their mother.
They're
their
just as
mothership.
fucking stupid, though.
Yeah, no, that's true. So we all need to be on the same page. Is it 1S or 2? Let's do this. And
I'll go with whatever you decide.
Wikipedia says it can be either.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. So Susie jumped in. So he annexes these to make it okay for him to advance his forces across those regions to get closer to Ukraine.
Non-violation of
because the rebel
UN.
forces that kind of have control of that area are backed by Russian money. So, okay, it's kind of like us saying, the example I used was, we're going to go to war with Mexico, but we're going to annex Sinaloa because we're going to recognize it as a separate entity from Mexico, and we're going to absorb it into the United States.
That's the thing. Have you seen all these pictures of people in the Ukraine the last 24 hours? They're like just normal life. They're like, hey, yeah.
They shot fireworks off.
There's so many Russian sympathizers. Like their last president was removed because he was so pro-Russian.
It's like if you go to Georgia, there's Stalins everywhere.
Yeah.
There's statues of Stalin.
Yeah,
but of course, there's also a statue of George Bush.
But Oatmeal Brain wants you to think that all hell's breaking loose and we're gonna fix it. When
these areas in the Donbass region were annexed, they shot off fireworks.
Did you see that Biden was trying to have a sit down with Putin? I was like, why is Biden? He's not the fucking president of the Ukraine.
Why the fuck do we care? Can someone please tell me that? Why?
You know the answer to that. You know the answer to your own question there.
I know. But why the fuck should the rest of the American people should be like, this motherfucker is trying to increase his own personal wellness, because that's all this is personal business, which is what they jumped all over Trump about 4 years ago, or, during Trump's term. They jumped all over his ass.
There's a lot of conflict of interest with Biden and Ukraine.
This is huge conflict of interest because it's all his business interest.
Yeah. It's a shame.
It's
Nobody knows about this, though. The thing that's funny is this isn't something that's just come up, though, ladies and gentlemen. This has been going on for like 20 years now.
What do you think they've been after his son for since he's been president?
Why do you think they kiboshed the laptop but right before the election?
Because it had all the information about what's going on in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Besides all the weird porn shit and him smoking crack with hookers or whatever.
We can get over that.
Yeah, we can get over that. It's
America.
America.
The deals with you. It's the deals with Russia and the Ukraine.
What I don't get is that everybody that has the president does not have supreme control of everything, and the people in office that can go in and say, this guy is fucking not mentally fit for this job. We need to do something because he's fixing to drag us into World War III when we don't have anything to do with any of this. We shouldn't. This is all his personal gain.
Well, this is the thing that's funny is him getting involved, thinking that that it's gonna make people gloss over the complete disaster he's done with COVID. And the complete disaster that he's done with Afghanistan and the economy, all these disasters that are just like a big fucking dumpster fire, right? He thinks that this is going to get glossed over. No, people are going to remember. They're going to be like, dude, what are you doing? Like, why you the public is not for us getting involved at all. Like, they're
None.
not. The Ukraine's not in NATO. They're not. They'd like to be, and that's the problem, probably, I guess. But they're not. They're not in NATO, so we have no ties. We don't have to do anything.
All of this is happening because of Biden and his family and the business he did during Trump's regime.
Bam, bam.
That's why
You're
this is
exactly
happening.
Right. And the pipeline.
That's it.
That's it.
That's what's
the
happening.
Whole fucking thing.
All
You're
of this is
exactly right,
happening
man.
because
Exactly
of this fuckhole.
Yeah.
And I said months ago, fuck Biden. I have no faith or confidence in him now. And now he's doing all this because of his personal shit that he had going on.
Well, see, this is
when he was no longer
this
vice
is
president.
news to a lot of people because everybody got into politics because they hated Trump so bad. They didn't realize that, no, like I've kind of had an interest in politics since I was a kid. He hasn't done shit. Joe Biden's one of the worst career politicians ever.
His record
My
is
statement
awful.
alone, you should not be a career politician, but
No.
he is. And he's done terrible. He's done
He's
nothing.
been a politician since
He's
both
waffled
you
on
and
everything.
I have been alive.
Every single issue that has faced our country, he has waffled on.
Mm-hmm.
Every single one.
And he's flip-flopped on
That's the
everything.
thing that's so funny. It was like, well, who are you going to vote for? Who are you going to vote for? Well, not Biden. Racist. Nazi. No. I've followed this shit for a while. I can tell you, Biden is one of the, like, even Obama, didn't he say, yeah, oh, Biden, he'll fuck some shit up. Like, his words.
Yeah.
He'll fuck some shit up. And he does.
He is fucking shit
He's
up.
lied about his law.
It's
like,
not about going in and putting a boot in their ass. He's really, really just
Did
fucking
you know?
shit up.
Did you know when he was touting that during the elections and the debates and all that, he was touting how he was in the top of his class in law school?
Lie.
He was like 263rd. Like he was at the bottom half. He almost got kicked out of law school.
Everything, if you go and research everything that is
He's full of shit.
That is a trophy point in his Wikipedia, it's
all
all
shit.
a lie.
Yeah.
All of it's a lie.
And the biggest one is that he's not a racist. No, the motherfucker's one of the biggest racists we ever. Remember who was it in the chat room that was like Trump is, or that was like Biden is not a racist. Stop saying that, Matt. Are you fucking kidding me? Do some research.
Yeah.
Do some research on some of the things that he said on record in front of the Senate.
He was the white dragon.
I don't know about that, but he went to the funeral of some grand wizard.
Yep, he did do that, which is kind of weird. I was trying to read through here. His approval rating is below 40% now. Below 40%.
He's had the biggest swing, I think, negative as any president ever.
It is dipped below. It is at 39.8% is what his approval rating is right now.
Like, I'm pretty sure Trump's was bad, but it was after a long bout of time. This is the first fucking year. The first year his approval ratings tanked.
Yeah. I'm sorry. This is a newer Gallup poll. So 36% approve of Biden on Russian. Oh, this isn't his total approval rating over what he's doing with the Russia-Ukraine situation.
Did you see the?
So his situation. Here we go. His situation with Russia. He has a 36 approval rating. His economy is 37% approval rating. Foreign affairs 40% approval. Coronavirus response 47, and overall job 41%. None of those are passing. None of those are over 50%.
No, this president is so bad. Like, did you hear what he said today? His little speech today, where he's basically softening us up because he knows our gas prices are about to go through the roof even more because of this. What he's done with the.
So you're at $5.80 a gallon, or almost $6 a gallon in California.
Oh, they're expecting our gas alone by summertime to be over $4 a gallon, and So today he made a speech about softening things. He's like trying to soften everybody up for the blow. He's like, we're going to do everything possible so the U.S.
Is this
so
the
our
2-2-2-2?
This was today.
So when he walked out at
it might
2-2-2?
it might have been yesterday's speech, but anyway.
Oh, they broke it down today.
Anyway,
okay.
he basically came out and was softening everyone up and preparing them for what's about to happen with gas prices, because he knows, like, people vote on gas prices. People vote on military actions. He fumbled military actions, and people are starting to wisen up to the whole pandemic and how he handled that. People are looking and seeing how he fucking killed us by stopping that pipeline from Canada, and then got us in this mess with the Ukraine and Russia. Now that's all dicey and stuff.
So he says there's been two things that have caused massive issue. The two things that have caused the most issues with the inflation have been computer chips not being available for cars, so that's caused inflation, and us going to war with Ukraine. His words, us going to war with Ukraine, is what he said, is the other thing that causes inflation. From what I understand, we're not at war with Ukraine. We have nothing. We shouldn't have anything to do with that. That's between them. That's between NATO. That's between all the countries. Yeah, we're in NATO, whatever, but NATO has nothing to do with, like you said, Ukraine's not part of NATO. Basically, NATO's just trying to take care of everything around there, like Belarus and all that. Aren't in Belarus in it and all that,
Yeah,
and
Belarus is
the
in
rest of Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
So basically, that's what NATO's looking out for, is the stuff on the eastern side of Ukraine. But this Gallup poll that came out today at 3:00, this is fucking awful.
Yeah.
Like, these numbers are terrible, and they show him just tanking from this time last year to now. How much he has just tanked. And you now have local elections coming up. You're going to have midterms coming up.
You saw what happened in San Francisco.
And
one of the most liberal cities in our country told the school, like, recalled 2 people on the school board, and it would have been all of them, but not all of them are up for recall. That's the only reason.
Well, when these elections come up and they all go hardcore red, you only have one person to blame.
Oh, for
and
sure.
with what's going on.
Well, no, you have a whole group of people. You have people that were duped and didn't do their own studying and decided that they were going to get on that fucking train, the Trump train, Trump, that thing. They're to blame.
The Trump worshippers?
No.
Or the ones that hate Trump?
The ones that thought that Trump was the worst president ever.
Yeah.
Because of his tweets. Because he had mean tweets.
And brought in Biden.
Right.
Well, Trump wasn't that great, but he's not the worst president ever. We are now sitting in the threshold after 1 year.
There's no debate
of the worst president ever.
I mean, at least that's cool. We get to see American history.
He was the worst president. I gave up on him after Afghanistan.
He was one of the worst vice presidents.
When he got all those people killed in Afghanistan.
Well, that's when people started thinking about stuff. They stopped taking what CNN and MSNBC were just cramming down their throats.
You pulled out like that, and a bunch of innocent people died. A bunch of families died. A bunch of kids died.
Then you
fucking droned
looking
a guy.
at your fucking watch at the service.
Yeah, we lost service people there. The most service people we lost in one incident.
We still have
years.
Americans in Afghanistan that are trapped.
Yep.
They were like, sorry for your luck.
We can't get you out of here, sorry.
I think, so that happened in August. I think at the end of July, didn't he say, we will not leave anyone, any American, trapped in Afghanistan? And then, you got 2 weeks to get out. Sorry.
Yep. Peace.
Yeah, it's been crazy. That's the thing that I want people to know that listen to us, though, for sure.
I'm going to attack any politician,
ladies and
gentlemen. I hate them all.
Ladies and gentlemen, you, like we've said, I'm not a Republican at all. But you people that fucking just went on emotions and mean tweets, right? You people have single-handedly probably caused the biggest red wave that our country has ever seen in the next 4 years.
Our
midterms are going to go one direction.
Afraid that our locals,
my
our
marijuana
midterms
being legalized in Texas just took the back seat. Just took a big fucking like.
Did you
oh
see
shit!
the Star Telegram article yesterday?
No.
That the push for that has been going for so long that it looks like it's going to be shelved for quite a while. With the way
especially
the
when the
world
elections
is going.
go completely red.
Yeah.
Texas is we're gonna be another 15 years before marijuana is legal in Texas now. Remember just when Trump was in office, you and I were like, oh man, we're like within 2 years probably. Like they're thinking about medicinally legalizing marijuana in the state of Texas.
Well, and Texas was leading towards a big blue wave.
It felt good. It felt like, oh, hey, we might have a chance here. But now I'm saying 15 years again until marijuana is legal in the state of Texas.
And what's going to suck is we're still going to have Wheels of Steel around here doing his bullshit because his approval rating or the points between him and Beto are just they were 10 points apart, and I think now they're close to 19 points apart.
Oh, I thought. Well, the thing is, he's not going to win. Like Democrats, that's the other thing, dude. Democrats keep doing this dumb shit of just throwing anyone out there. You're basically Democrats decided for the state of Texas they're going to get behind a guy that has gone on record several times saying, "Hell yeah, I'll take away your rifles, your sport rifles, your AR-15, your AR 47s."
Oh, well.
Your AK-18s.
I take that back. As of today, it says that
it tightened up.
It has tightened up, yeah.
Like 7%.
It did fall way out, and now they're tightening up. Let's see. It shows that he has. He's got to get the. O'Rourke doesn't really have the full Democratic nomination yet, because that's what's all coming up. Because their vote,
the primary,
isn't until November, but. This is all just getting everything lined
all
up.
the
but you can
kind of
you can already figure out. You can see who's going to win. Points wise, poll wise.
It doesn't matter. If Beto gets elected, which
you see, he backtracked on the gun thing, though, right?
Yeah. Well, he knows he has to. There's no way he's going to get any votes if he does that.
But if he gets in office and says, "I'm coming to get your guns," I'll shoot him in his.
Whoa. Jokes.
It's just jokes.
It's just kid stuff.
It's just kid stuff.
So that's one thing though. There's one wild card that we could play on the greenage of Texas. And that is there's so many Californians that are moving here now that we could turn blue, A, or B, if it becomes a hot button, then you're going to have a lot of citizens that have just moved here that have lived in California like, yeah, it's pretty nice having marijuana legal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that could happen, I guess.
So here's the deal.
The deal is I got to take a potty break, and then we'll finish the show.
Which do you think will be... yeah, because I got something cool I want to talk about. I want to talk about space.
I'm always down to talk about
We're going to talk
space.
about some space. And
you
know how we love talking about space.
I don't think space is gay.
I don't either. Like
Jake? Like someone in DFW media.
Did you listen to him today?
No, I don't listen to those guys much anymore.
He still hates Joe Rogan.
Why does he hate Joe Rogan?
Because Joe Rogan makes more money than him doing a podcast, and he's on the ticket, and Jake thinks he should be making huge money on a podcast. Although no one knows who he is. But he had on that realtor lady, I can't remember her name, that went and stormed the Capitol, that flew up there on her plane.
Yeah, she's trying to start a show on YouTube.
You need to hear this interview. She is
crazy.
I've never, as I'm watching Twitter and Reddit, the Ticket Reddit page,
people are like, get her off.
I've never seen the C-bomb dropped as much as I did. They are like, this is the definition of a Karen. This lady does not understand what the fuck she's saying or what's going on in her life and how she's one of those Plano PTA moms that are just everything I say is right. And, blah, 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 blah. And she's so out of it. And Jake and Dan supposedly kept just calling her out on shit and
Did they
making fun of her on the air. So I need to go back and listen to the audio because I didn't hear it either.
Yeah.
I want to go back and listen to the
Did
audio.
they have
I
their
just
shit
saw
together,
the Twitter
though?
going, and then afterwards, they had it. They had the interview. I went and looked at Twitter, and it was just like C-bomb, 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 C-bomb. This girl's a dumb C. What the hell? C-bomb. Shut her down. It's got to be on
I
the
tend to
Unticket.
not listen to the ticket when they get into politics, which they never do, which is good. But when they do, they don't know what they're talking about. None of them. You're like,
About as
dude, you
much
don't
as
know
we
what
do.
you're fucking talking about. No, I'd say that Jerry Jonestown, our podcast, like you and I, could probably go toe to toe with the whole ticket staff on politics and just completely
Probably.
no lube them.
Probably.
No lube 'em.
The one that has secret knowledge is Gordo.
Because he's an open mind and he studies stuff. Like
Yeah.
he looks into things.
He will
wants to
actually
know.
study
He wants
things
to
and
know
what's going on.
answers.
Yeah.
Which I want him on our show.
So
Do we have him on the list?
Susie has. He needs to be. He's pasted a wall here.
All right, let's hear from Susie.
She says, "I don't think that
in
Democrats
Fort Worth.
want-
Democrats.
Yeah. Susie on the one ball line, or on the. We need a phone number line. Like we need a name.
We could totally do that.
Susie says, "I don't think
Open
that
it up.
Democrats wanting open borders is them thinking that Democrats will be coming in and voting.
That's exactly what it
Well,
is.
They say that on the news everywhere.
Yeah.
It's about giving asylum and compassion to others trying to improve their lives. They do say that too, but they also want the
No, it's a
voting
power.
numbers.
It's a power grab.
Because every news organization says that that's a numbers thing. Have you guys voted in the primaries already? These are the primaries saying who will be on the ballot for November.
I don't know who on the like the Democrat primaries is. I don't even know who Beto is going up against. As
I don't
far as
either.
as far as Republican side, it's what Huffines and Abbott's all I've heard.
I've been
Is there
listening
other
to
people?
Fort Worth Freedom Review. That's the place to go and get your news.
All right. Well, do they have a
with
show that I
social-
could listen to see
Yeah, it's
who's
a
actually
podcast. It's
going to
Sosa's
be?
podcast.
That's what I'm saying. Does he have a show or he breaks down the whole?
Yeah, this week
both-
was the Republican side of things.
So
On the
now- and
ballot,
then next-
so I bet they'll do Democrat next.
Yeah.
But you can go through there and look at it.
It doesn't matter.
And you can go to Ballotpedia.
The public is so pissed
Ballotpedia
off.
will tell you.
The public is so pissed off. It doesn't even matter at this point. You're going to get the most red shit ever. On even Democrats are going to have their conservative Democrats are going to get elected.
Maybe us having these opinions will fire everyone up, and they'll go and change.
Vote for weed. What do we want? Weed. When do we want it? Now.
38 candidates
For governor or just
to serve in the U.S. House.
Oh.
38.
Yeah. Good luck, Blue. You guys got a big one in front of you.
So, yeah, maybe. Boom, we will.
See, that's the other
Get
thing is
this.
that you have a
Bam.
lot of apathy in the Democratic Party because of what happened to Tulsi and what's his face? I'm here once again to ask for your donations. What's his name? Bernie.
Party
They got
control.
hosed so bad that you have a lot of Democrats now that are not going to vote. They're like, fuck it. I don't
But-
want to vote now.
You know, I forgot when Ann Richards ended. 94.
Ann Richard was so awesome.
It's
It's the best Democrat that Texas has ever had was Ann Richards.
And then the Senate, 96, and the House last.
Are you talking about the Texas Senate and House?
The last time they had control was the Senate was 96 and the House was 02. Since then, it's been red across the board.
It's going to get redder, I'm afraid, y'all.
Just because of this dumb fucking dumbhead, dummy.
No, it's because
And
of the
we
whole
said-
party. The Democrats have played the wrong card.
We said this
Completely.
years ago when they fucked over Bernie that they're
We said
fucking
it-
over their entire
Exactly.
party.
We knew it. Right then, we're
When
like, well, y'all
Hillary
fucked up.
tried to take over everything. We said this years ago. This is gonna fuck
Yeah.
y'all over for at least a decade.
And they nominated the worst guy possible. They just went with it. And you're like, you have good candidates. Do you hear what Bernie's saying? Do you hear what Tulsi's saying? Do you hear what anyone else is saying
No.
besides Biden and the super
no,
PAC?
no. Stop it, Biden. Besides Hillary, because you got to go back to that. You got to go back to Hillary, and they put all their eggs in the Hillary basket, and Trump beat her ass.
And it spunked them. They didn't know what to do.
It spunked them, and then they had Goo Goo Head now. Peanut Butter Brain.
Peanut Butter Brain
is now out there.
So it's oatmeal and peanut butter brain.
Yeah. Peanut Butter Brain is now out there.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. So do you want to go pee, and then we'll talk space?
Yeah. Yeah. Let's take a music break. Play some Henry the Archer. You saw him play it, right?
Yeah, I did. It was a great show. Yeah. I didn't even talk about that going to that show. Go ahead and go pee, and I'll just sit here and talk about it with myself.
Okay.
Yeah, so on Saturday night, went to after I played War Games, went to Mass. I said something about that. Got there in time for some Four Sisters across the street. Eat some good chicken fried rice, some fried tofu, and had some good conversations with Susie and Kevin and Nancy. And then we walked over to Mass to see the end of, I can't remember who the band was that started. I can't even, dang it, I'm getting messages, but I didn't see, I can't remember who the first band was, but got there to see Cutthroat Finches, who always put on a fantastic show. Man, Sean Russell's a front man. That guy, he's great. That whole band's great. Taylor Tash on guitar is great. Man, it's a great freaking band. They're really, really, really good. If you haven't seen them, I highly recommend it. They put on one hell of a show. I think if you're a fan of any genre of music, you would dig them. They're not heavy. They're not hard. They're just a good freaking band. The next, opening was the Taylor Young Band. That's who I missed. Wish I would have seen them after finding out who all was in that band, but didn't get to see them. And then headlining the night was Henry the Archer. This was their first public show in 2, maybe almost 3 years. They've done some private shows, but this was the first public show out and about just because of COVID and Richard living out of town and, you know, the chaos that it is living in a COVID world and trying to travel. But man, they got up there and it was like they didn't miss a beat.
Yeah, I saw some pictures. It looked like the place was packed too.
The place was packed and it was good.
I guess they remembered them.
Yeah, they ripped through it. And what was great was they ripped through a great set, played new songs.
New sex.
And then they got an encore. They were people started screaming encore like loud. And it was early.
Did he break out the dildo?
What was funny?
Like, okay.
No, he's like, he didn't.
Shaded
Stubbs,
in white.
you hear? I need you to play the dildo on the mic. No, he
covered in white. Right?
Covered in white. He they were yelling encore, encore, and like I said, they started it. It was an 8, 9, 10 o'clock show. So the first band was 8, second band was at 9. Henry the Archer came on at 10. Early. But the crowd was screaming, so they got up there and they ripped through Why Can't You Hear Me, which they haven't played in forever. They didn't even rehearse it. And it was funny because when it came to the solo, he just got up on the mic and was like, I don't remember the solo. So they just rhythm through it and kept playing. And it was great. It ended out the night perfect. Everybody was in a happy mood. It was cool. It was like
what's he playing on now?
Fun. It's fun. He's playing on this was it Gibson?
That single pickup Gibson that he has?
Yeah, I think so.
Is it green or something?
Brown. It's in the pictures.
The one he was playing at South by Southwest when he had just gotten it.
I don't know if he still has that one or not. I don't know. But he played an electric ukulele for one or two of the songs. It was cool.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was a good night. Man, good night of good music. These are coming up, man. We're about to get hit. A lot of people are ramping up for March. A lot of bands are ramping up for South by because it seems like there's going to be a big influx of Fort Worth bands going down this year. So we're going to get some good shows coming up, I think. Some good warm-up shows, some good build shows heavily billed with some good bands, so it's gonna be good. Next few weeks are gonna be fun. March and April, I think we're gonna have, because COVID's over. COVID's done.
Yeah.
That news cycle's over. Time to move on. No one else can get sick anymore.
Yeah.
So, space.
Until the next pandemic,
Yeah.
which is on the way.
Space.
Ask Bill Gates.
So I've been kind of tracking what's been going on with the sun. Kind of.
The flares?
Here and there. You know, you hear about it here or there.
Scary. I don't look into that too much because I'm scared.
Well, my buddy I grew up with, John. You remember John? Used to come to all the Steadfast shows with me.
Yes.
When we would wear our leather pants together. It was funny.
Yes, I remember John.
When I had leather pants, they were awesome. My ass
I don't
looked
think
great
I've ever
in 'em.
worn leather pants in my life.
I wish I still
Ever.
had them. Everybody grabbed my ass when I had those on. It was great.
I've never had a pair, ever, in my life. I don't think I've ever worn.
One night I had a good friend rub the front of my leather pants on accident, and she was like, "What was that?" I was like, "That was my dick." She goes, "What?"
What was that?
I was like, "It's leather pants. There's nothing to hide.
It's a penis.
I can't hide anything. I'm sorry." She's like, "Oh, I thought that was like you had something in your, like your wallet was in your front pocket or something." It's like, no.
I'm just happy to see you.
Leather pants are great, but they don't hide anything. So, yeah. Anyway, me and John used to wear leather pants, and we used to talk
To
about the
Steadfast
stars
shows?
on the Steadfast
You didn't
shows.
wear leather pants to the Steadfast shows. I would have noticed that.
There's a picture of
Of
me
you
in leather
on
pants at
the
a
Steadfast
Steadfast
show.
show. I'll go find it.
Do you remember when Apache had those shirts made that said Stubbs is an asshole on the back?
I tried to get one.
Stubbs is a fucking or Stubbs is an asshole.
And then he made the one,
that had Steadfast on the front and the back said Stubbs is an asshole.
but he made another one for I Was Once Eaten.
Did he? Did
Yeah.
he say Stubbs was
Stubbs
an
is an
asshole?
asshole. Yeah, he made another one. It cracked me up. So he sent me a message this morning. He's like, "Dude, do you track the sun?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I check in every once in a while." He's like, "Man, I look at it daily." And I was like, "Well, yeah, I see the sun daily." But he goes, "No, man. I
Looks at
track the conditions daily." He gets on NASA and space weather, and NASA released a photo. In fact, if you're in the
that's
chat room,
cool ass photo too.
if you're in the chat room, I'll just show it to you right here. Boom.
Isn't that gnarly?
There is a solar flare.
Look at that thing.
There is a solar flare that shot out that is pretty much the width of the sun. They say it's 1.5 million miles.
Yeah.
Is how far
That
and crazy that went.
Microwaved a bunch of stuff.
And so the sun is on a 10-year cycle, which is interesting because so's the weather here on our planet Earth. The warming and cooling cycles of the planet.
No.
What? Huh? That's global warming.
Global warming.
No, there's some issues with global warming, but you also got to see what else is going on in the universe. So the sun, every 10 years, it cools up. The easiest way to say it is it heats up and cools down. These solar flares, the solar energy changes because of magnetic properties inside the sun, and it's been ramping up for the past 10 years, and we're at
like the peak.
Pretty much the peak of it. This year is going to be the full peak, and it's going to be sending flares out like crazy. If one of these, luckily this one wasn't pointed towards the sun, or else you wouldn't be listening to a podcast right now. In fact, the entire globe would probably be dark, except for
Blown
where the
out.
sun is up, but we would have no power.
Well, they've had several.
Electricity.
They've had some like the solar flares recently that they said this will affect some technologies and some.
That's what I want to get to because Elon launched another batch of Starlink satellites, and they fell over Indonesia because of a solar
flare.
They didn't get up high enough in time, and we had a small flare hit us. And there is video footage. I think it's Indonesia. It's one of those islands over there, but they have footage of them, a train of satellites
Just
falling
falling
and burning up as they re-enter
dude,
the
I want to see
atmosphere.
that.
It's pretty damn
I still
cool.
haven't seen any of the the Skylink, or I haven't seen it
In real life,
in real life. Yeah, I want to.
I saw it one night here. You could see them because I have that tracker, and they flew over to the south of here. You could see them.
They only stay in line for a little bit, right?
Yeah,
Then they
until
spread out.
They start spreading out and getting their orbit or whatever. But yeah, this was right after a launch. They hadn't spread out yet, and they are
Got hit
thinking
by a
it was
flare?
a flare. And we've lost a few other GPS satellites. And there was a weird rocket that was launched that was supposed to deploy some payload, and it got all fucked up.
Yeah.
And now it's just
They think it was a flare too.
spinning off out into space, and they think a solar flare got it. Because when these flares go off, we have 8 minutes before they hit the Earth. So it's not enough time to really course correct or do anything. I'm waiting for the day that our cell phones go off and they say, get inside something. A solar flare is about to hit. And hopefully
you're not on a jog.
And hopefully, it doesn't blow out your house or something. But as we were talking about EMPs earlier,
that's a natural EMP.
That's the ultimate EMP.
Yeah.
And like this one that they're saying, this one that ejected out of the sun, that is send you back to the Middle Ages right there. Just boom. One flare. And the sun's ramping up. So,
What would happen? Check this out for a think tank moment. You want to talk about philosophy and stuff real quick and suns?
Okay.
Something that could happen? Now, I don't know if there's any science behind this at all. I just thought of this actually while you were when you were going into this. What if there's a big-ass solar flare that hits Earth and wipes out any kind of technology that could shoot nukes? And it's back to mano-a-mano fucking gunfights.
Good.
Do you think that would right the ship for our world? Do you think the world would start getting their head back on straight if that happened?
Well, the question is
or do you think it would just be mass chaos and all these millennials would just blow their brains out because they don't know what the fuck to do with their life now?
Well, that just went 2 different directions, so I'd have to break it down. The nuke thing would be great. Like, if you can't have power, eventually power will be restored, period. And, of course, if power is restored, the first thing our government's going to do is the defense grid is going to be the first thing back up online. So defense grid includes nukes, anything that can be one way. The weird thing is, if a solar flare hits Earth, and this is something I've never need to look into or ask someone about, if you're facing the sun, so it's daytime here, and a solar flare hits us, what happens to the other side of the globe? Do we take the brunt force? And is the U.S. now the Middle Ages, but then Russia still has all their power?
How would that change?
We can just take over whatever. Or China, we're waiting on a solar flare to hit so that we can just take over the U.S. type thing. I don't know if a solar flare wraps around the Earth and attacks everything, or if it's just, whoever it's daytime takes the brunt of it.
I imagine it depends on the size. It could probably get as big as it needs to wipe the whole world out, but there's a chance that it could take out just one side of the globe.
Well, they say this one that this picture of is a Category X, and that is the worst flare that there is.
Like the next flare is the sun blowing up?
Pretty much, yeah. But the Category X is the worst.
But they do say that our sun, as far as we know, is still young.
Oh yeah,
it's not. Yeah. It's not at that stage where we need to think about it being over.
It's just all these people are worried about fucking invisible lines in the ground of who owns what. As far as countries and regions like Russia, it's invisible lines. When there is so much shit outside of this planet,
we're so small,
so small. And there's a whole chart. we're getting close to an asteroid hitting, and
We've
there's
dodged
several that we've seen on the
a lot of bullets.
backside.
Yeah.
Like this asteroid passed, and they're like, "Oh shit, that was really
Missed that
close
one.
to us." And then you got who was it? Google or China or someone or Israel wanting to play around with one of these asteroids coming at us.
I think we need to start trying to figure something out because it is a matter of
See if they can divert it.
If the human race wants to continue, we need to start directing science towards some kind of deflection of asteroids. The problem is the big unknown. We're seeing asteroids that we think are huge and stuff flying by. What if there's something that's way larger than that'll just take a whole universe out,
Yeah.
that comes through space.
Yeah.
Like, but the ones that are controllable, manageable, that we could shoot a nuke at or something like Armageddon, then yeah, I think
If
we
you
should.
follow-
I think we should look into that.
If you follow the Big Bang
I support
theory
that.
of how the universe, started at one point and is now rapidly expanding. No one knows what happens when that expansion stops.
No, you can look at Reddit threads, but you
that
don't know.
point of beginning just becomes a black hole or some type of void that just sucks everything into nothingness, and you're done.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I mean,
you got to watch out what you read on Reddit because it'll mind mess you. You'll get messed up in the mind. Yes, there's so many crazy theories.
You go to the Museum of Science and History in New
I'm not
York, and it will break your brain.
No, yeah, I'm talking about
you'll freak out.
The what ifs though, like up there when you go to the science museums, they're pretty much this is going to happen at some point. At some point, this is going to happen, guys.
Their black hole room made me.
And where
at the Museum of Science and History in New York, they
have a black
room
hole room
that talks about supernovas and black holes.
Dude, then you get into dark matter,
and I melted. I was like, "Oh, what?"
When you get into dark matter, you
wait
melt.
A second.
You're like,
huh?
Yeah.
Like I thought I knew a lot about black holes because they fascinate me, and I'm not talking about the ones at Peep and Tom's.
Sorry,
over in Grand Prairie. No, but I was.
It's a family show, sir.
Oh. Yeah.
It's wild. A lot of wild stuff.
I mean, basically, all it takes is a just random piece of
EMP?
nothing to cause our entire existence to disappear. And NASA also released a deal saying that their new telescope they put up, that new badass one, they're going to start scanning other planets as far as and looking back in time. You know how they're doing that, right? Like,
I've seen some stuff.
People are like, how does a telescope go back in time? That's not really what it is. They're looking
the traveling of light.
They're looking at light before it actually hits the planet Earth. They can see it. But they're going to start looking at planets in other solar systems, other galaxies, and they think they can tell if there's life forms on it by seeing if the atmospheres of those planets have pollution or not.
That's a good way to do it, probably.
And then there was another thing.
But what if they're an advanced form that figured out a way to not emit any kind of pollution?
The planet has a giant
butt plug.
Instead of gas and oil, it's all lithium ion, and they all drive Teslas around.
And just they randomly catch on fire every once in a while. And
that's the only pollution you see is the random catching on fire.
But then they have to have coal. So we're back to pollution.
Yeah.
You see, you wokesters, there's nothing. It's a bunch of what if.
That's my favorite argument.
You got nothing, man.
I'm going to save the environment by buying a Tesla. How are you going to charge it?
Silence.
Oh, I plug it into my wall. They bring this unit out. Yeah, but where's that power come from?
Silence.
From the grid?
Yeah.
Well, what kind of grid? Where's that power that
you talking about electricity, right?
Like regular electricity, like that feeds your house. Yeah. Where's that coming from?
Think that just comes from the sun, a solar flare?
Well, it comes from Comanche Peak nuclear power. Ours doesn't. Not around here, it doesn't.
I don't understand the weirdos that have something against nuclear energy. Those guys don't make sense either.
Because
when you hear them talking, you're like, what the fuck are you talking about, man? This is the cleanest energy that can be burned that we've discovered.
We have 2 incidents where nuclear energy has caused problems.
And they base everything off that.
And it was human error. Basically in both situations. Because they could have protected, even with the tsunami, they could have protected
Japan?
Japan, yeah.
But the Russian one was fucking pride and a lot of mistakes.
Yeah, there was a lot of human pride and all that. If you watch the Chernobyl documentary
or the series.
Well, that's what I meant. That series, because that
Such
was
a good
dead
series.
on.
So dark too.
The other thing NASA put out there is they think that is it Jupiter? God dang, I'm trying to find it. I want to say it's Jupiter. That it rains liquid rubies and emeralds.
Really?
Yeah.
It's like a big bejeweled.
Yeah. It's like, that's kind of cool. I want to go there and get some liquid.
I told Mandy the other day, I was just in one of my moods, my I hate the world moods, and I'm like, that's it. I'm signing up for Mars. Well, you're not going to make it back. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Well, you're probably going to die because you'll be one of the first group. Yeah, it's cool.
Yep, it's
Is
all
there
good.
a problem here?
No. That'll be my impact on human history.
But if I do get there, there's not going to be many humans there. That's the great part.
Yeah.
It's
just hang out.
Cool ass place.
Or you could just go out to the desert.
Good.
But West Texas would be the same thing.
You got to wear sunblock and stuff.
You have to wear a uniform on Mars.
There's a lot of shit you probably have to wear the first few years.
You've seen the Matt Damon movie, right? Where they just kind of
good
leave
flick
him.
Too. I like that movie.
Man, that guy saved himself. I didn't know Matt Damon was so smart. Boy from
He wasn't
Boston.
wearing a mask though.
He wasn't
at the Super Bowl.
So he must pissed off about that.
He must not be too smart.
One last thing I want to talk about, and then we'll get the hell out of here. Elwin, this weekend is Deaf Heaven. I want to put that in there.
Is that Friday or Saturday night?
Friday night.
I got my ticket. I told you that, right?
Yeah, it's Friday night.
Yep.
What do you think about this this other Epstein?
Yeah, man. At what point do you have to get to the bottom of something? Like, why is our government and our agencies not getting to the bottom of this thing, and why these people keep ending up dead? You know why? They're tied into it.
Yep. So Jean-Luc Brunel, who was a modeling agent and the financier of Jeffrey Epstein, was found dead in his cell on Saturday
from
suicide and
sheets.
From sheets and suicide, and it just so happens that the cameras were off.
Again.
Yeah.
Do you think this is all to protect Bill Clinton?
Why protect him? The guy's almost dead. Have you
I know.
seen him?
I don't know. I think Hillary and Bill are just so power hungry that they're going at it at all cost.
I think they're both dead.
Who?
Hillary and Bill.
No, I told you, man. She did it. She's doing a podcast now.
Oh, we need to go.
Now he might be dead.
He looks horrible,
man. If you had to live with her,
when Jimmy Carter looks better than you, and you're like 20 years younger, there's something wrong.
Yeah, it's called syphilis.
He looks awful. They're not getting the blood from the young children anymore.
They've been cut off.
They've been cut off. They're not getting what they need.
So many people listening to our show right now are going, what the fuck are they talking about? Blood of young children.
But yeah, when this whole Epstein thing.
I don't know why there's just not some badass like Hoover comes in and is like, damn it, we're getting to the bottom of this. I don't care how dirty it gets. You know why? Because if they do say that.
The only person that has gotten in trouble is what, Prince Andrew?
Yeah.
What was that? Who it was?
And
what was his name? Whoever.
It's not over with him. I think they're actually digging into his whole deal now, right? Yeah. Nothing's gonna happen to him. These are the elites of the world They think they don't have to abide by rules of age and sex and consent because they're powerful, Dustin.
But the monarchy, the royal family took everything away from him, right? He's no longer. He lost his prince title and all that.
Didn't that happen to the other one though? That
I mean, that's the most highly profile person that's
the one
gotten
that got
in trouble out of all this.
the ball and chain of a wife. It's like, fuck this. We're going back to America.
Yeah, I guess he pretty much lost.
They've cut him off. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
That guy got one piece of good ass and decided to just do whatever she said, man, dude. That's it. Oh, you don't think she's that great? I'm just saying, to him, he got sprung on her. And it's like, she says jump, he says how high.
Yeah.
Which one was that? The young one?
Harry.
Harry, yeah, Harry. Is it Harry? Because
I
one's cool, one's not.
I get them all screwed up. They both wore swastikas to a costume party, so
which don't see those pictures anymore,
yeah.
do you?
Because that's all right.
No, if you're that way, like look at Trudeau, blackface, all like his big, he wasn't even ashamed of his blackface. Like did it like this, like with his tongue sticking out. Like yeah, take a picture of me. I'm doing blackface.
Hey, well, you're right. It was Prince Harry. And Meghan Markle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's just running that man into the ground. Is he going to kill himself?
How did he marry her and not
He's
one of the
gotta
Spice
think
Girls?
about it.
You're in the country with the Spice Girls.
How do you fuck up a whole royal family?
You're in the country?
She's a Karen.
You're in the country that has Nuts magazine, and that's who you marry?
That's a good point. We have a lot of models that we used to follow from those parts of the world.
Yeah.
And that's not one of them.
She wasn't. She was from here.
Yeah. And she's just ruined his life. Poor guy. You went from being a badass prince, war hero, philanthropist, I don't know, like worldly person.
Badass.
You're a badass.
You could have had.
And you decide to just take a knee for this hag.
You could have had Lucy Pinder.
You're right.
Holly Pierce.
Yeah.
India Reynolds.
Pretty much anyone in that those magazines that we used to look at all the time while we were trying to record drums.
Anybody from the Nuts catalog.
You had them.
You had them.
And the Spice Girls. Yeah, and you chose to spend the rest of your life with this maniac.
Are British glamour models hotter than American glamour models?
I don't know, man.
The problem with American is there's a lot of plastic.
American girls, man.
There's a lot of plastic.
There is.
Nuts used to have a policy.
There's a lot of plastic over there too, though.
But Nuts had the policy that if you got plastic, you had to be natural.
Yeah.
Once you got plastic, you were out. You can go to Loaded or whatever.
Man, what a shame. That guy could have had the pick of the litter, and he just decided
We're
to
still
not.
talking, yeah.
Like he fucked his life up. That's why he's depressed now. Like everybody's like he's losing his mind. Yeah, he's losing his mind because she's a Karen, and she's running his life. He needs to go out with the Jerry Jonestown Massacre show down to the Yellow Rose and hang out with us and Jeremy. That'll set him straight.
You see us running around town with Prince Harry.
Guys, I like you a lot. I never thought I'd like you, but I like you a lot.
That's the weirdest combo I've ever heard in my life.
Would he not snap out of it, though? Would he not go back to a new man? Let me ask you this. Is there any chance that he has had to go to Taco Bell past 10 o'clock for her because she wanted it? She's like, what's up, Taco Bell? Okay.
Or McDonald's.
I guarantee you he's gone through some drive-through somewhere in this country in the middle of the night because of her.
Or he's running around town with the lads, and she's like,
come home.
I need you to bring me home some Sudafed.
Sudafed. Can you bring me some Sudafed and some Chicken Express? Or no, Chick-fil-A. That's what it is.
I need some Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A and some Sudafed. What are you doing? You're late. Are you drunk? Fuck.
What have you guys been doing?
Hang up. You hanging out with Stubbs and Dustin? fucking assholes. Put them on the phone. What, Mike? No, it's not like that.
You guys were at billiards again, weren't you?
Y'all doing fireballs?
We get the chance to hang out with Prince Harry, and we just take him to dive bars. How awesome would that be?
Yeah.
Everybody's like,
Prince Harry?
that guy looks familiar. but
Honestly, I bet he could go into Texas billiards and people wouldn't even, they'd just
They'd
leave him
know who
alone.
he
They wouldn't know
was.
who he was. They're like, who's this asshole
Oh,
that all the women are looking at?
oh, look at you with your funny accent. Okay, you want another shrimp on the bobby?
Yeah.
That's what people would do.
Poor guy.
I like this scenario. We should make a movie
Should.
of, they do all these stupid Disney movies where the girl, the American girl, winds up with, she has royal blood or something and ends up
Yeah.
marrying a prince or something.
I think that's a movie with what's her face, like switching
Princess Diaries or something like that.
Yeah,
Or
with
some shit.
you know what I'm talking about. She turns,
The one that went crazy?
Yeah, what's her Lisa Lohan.
Not
What's
Lindsay
her first
Lohan.
name?
That's
Yeah,
not
Lindsay
her.
Lohan was in a movie where
She's in the one where there's two of them. Yeah, not that. I'm
Oh.
talking about the other one. The girl that went insane and on Twitter and asked Drake to murder her pussy. She tweeted that like a whole bunch. I can't remember her name. And I think she was she was a Disney girl, Princess Diaries. I'm hoping the chat room helps me out here, but I guess that's not gonna happen. God, what's her name?
I don't know who you're talking about, man. I'll be honest with
She
you.
went crazy. She broke down. And
Is it the one that got into porn? It was like she was on One Tree Hill or some shit. And
No,
now
no,
she's
no.
all over the place.
Thank you, Susie. Amanda Bynes.
Yeah.
Amanda Bynes was in one of those movies where it turned out that she had
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's like she was a royal blood. Yeah.
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 She had royal blood and she
just wanted to be a
married a
common
princess.
person.
But now our Disney movie will be we're just dudes that do a podcast and then we run across Prince Harry at a
billiards
at UFC fight in Vegas and he becomes good friends with us, so then he flies to
and we cause a divorce.
He flies to Fort Worth and just hangs out with us and we go to dive bars.
I like this. We take him to Six Flags just once.
His phone keeps going off. Will you bring home some Sudafed? He's like, I'm across the country. I don't know what
you and I
accent
are like,
that was
give
either.
me the phone. Give me your phone, dude.
Give me your phone.
Give me your phone, man. Let me see this. I'll take care of this real quick.
I like this movie. I like where this is going. This is a good scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Is that it? That's it. That's all. Is that stuff? And sad news on today. 2/22/22. Lead singer of Screaming Trees.
Closed.
And contributor to Queens of the Stone Age, Mark Lanigan, died at the age of 57.
Did they say how?
He's been sick for a while.
Yeah. It wasn't COVID, though, or anything like that?
I ran
Something
into
silly.
him in Seattle and whipped his ass for a good 30 minutes. Just talking to him about shit. And we ended up spending time talking about good records and how much he loves Dallas and Tim the Laughter and all the little projects he's into and digs the shit out of them.
Baroness?
What are you talking about, Baroness?
Oh, I thought Baroness recorded here, too.
They did.
At
The Yellow and Green albums were recorded here, right? Or was it Blue? One of the Baroness records was recorded here. Was it Yellow Green?
I think so.
Over there in
Or was
Oak
it
Cliff.
Purple?
Wasn't Purple. Purple was up in Philly, I thought.
Yeah, and that was the one that took a while, right?
That was
Purple?
after the wreck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it was Yellow and Green were recorded in Oak Cliff.
Yeah.
Baroness Records. But yeah, no, we were just talking about all sorts of stuff, and he had a big chunk of what was going on at Sub Pop and stuff, and the resurrection of the record label and the store they have in the airport and everything. And that's what we were kind of talking about was he's like, man, Dallas has some
Why didn't
badass
you roll
record
Pink?
stores. Didn't have really anything on me, and I was on a bunch of edibles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, this was the cruise.
This is like right around that time. But it was cool. It was cool running into him and talking to him about stuff. And now that I think about it, it may not have been him. No, I'm just kidding.
I do that shit all the time. Remember the
No,
other
it
day when
wasn't,
I was
but we
like,
were
dude,
talking
that's
about it.
Black Belt Jones. I'm like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
Not at
No,
all.
it was really cool. It was really cool. And he was super sweet, super nice dude. But yeah, it's sad. Sucks.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Chase made a point that, which I passed on to Jeff and Susie in our little chat, is that there's only like 2 or 3 original grunge
Alternative
frontmen,
and grunge.
just grunge
bands.
from the grunge explosion. The grunge frontmen still alive.
It's because they were so into heroin.
So you got Eddie Vedder, you got Ding Dong from Mudhoney,
Yeah.
and the guy from Tad. And I can't think of any more off the top of my head. Like, what was it? Dumpster Truck or Gutter Truck or whatever was a grunge
I think
band.
we were supposed to play with some band called Dumpster Truck, but we never could pull it off. And they had a bunch of porn chicks that were into them. Do you remember that? We had to wave the show off.
That's not the band that was visiting.
I just know that we were supposed to play some show with some band called Dump Truck or something, and they were like, all their songs were about like porn, and they had porn stars that were all into them, kind of like what some faces used to do.
Remember that joint we
Pimpedelic?
played down there on the south side of Fort Worth that night? And
Rock
all
Dogs?
Those, yeah, and all those people came in, and those girls kept
Remember when the girl
exposing themselves?
Yeah, and then she fell and hit her head, and y'all were trying to get me to fuck her. Remember?
Well, she like pulled her pants down right while we were on stage, and is like showing us everything as we're playing.
Then she fell off the stage and had to get an ambulance called.
She wasn't on the stage; she was on a table and fell. Right?
I thought she fell right in front of us. Like
she smashed her head open, and everything, and
everybody's like,
and her pants are still down.
Like Jesse was like, "Who is that?"
I don't know.
Like, I don't know. You don't know her? Nope.
And they kept trying to just come because he goes, "We got a compound. It's down in Alvarado. Come down here and hang out with us."
I don't think that's the same.
I don't think we can do that.
I think that girl just was a regular that went to Rock Dogs because no one knew her.
The one that pulled
everybody thought that I was trying to, like, it was when, everybody's trying to hook me up because it was right after I separated from my wife at the time, and everybody's like, "You need to get laid," and I'm like, "Not with that."
That is disaster.
And then, sure enough,
it was.
She left in an ambulance.
But there was another night, and there's pictures of there around there. I think I've got them, where that dude came in and he looked like he belonged with Jim Rose Circus, and he had all those chicks, and they were running around.
Man, I don't know. It sounds familiar, but I don't remember this. Like,
that was confusing. And
that was our shows?
Yeah, and that was the group that was trying to get us to go down to Alvarado to their compound and party with them the rest of the weekend. And we're not going to sleep, and we're going to ingest everything under the goddamn sun. And
I didn't go?
That may have been the time you said your ringtone. Hey!
Oh, is it? Might have been.
Because I think they were there. The Whiskey Dick Boys were there, too, because they knew those guys.
They were there. Because Brittany was there, and she was trying to. She's like all about me trying to bang someone, and then she split her skull open.
Split her skull open with her pants down.
And it was funny because I was like, "Guys, I can get laid. I've done this before. Like, it's not something I don't want to."
Have you?
I'm not gonna, yeah.
You know how this
Maybe
works.
Not. Maybe I'm just dreaming it.
I don't like those days.
Oh. Which days?
They just felt dirty. Playing places like that make you feel
loved
dirty.
it. I love playing little dingy venues like that. I love it.
The spectacle.
I don't know why y'all fucking turn your nose up at so many venues. I'm like, dude, just play
I don't.
It. I know you don't, but the guys do.
No, Spectacle doesn't because that's
you're
what
out
we're
your
doing.
mind.
No,
I've brought up because
we're doing a whole planned dive bar tour.
10 years into it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't have
but back
to
in the
back
day,
then.
they're like, we're not going to play that place.
No, they had
Why?
priority. They had
play Haley's.
They knew what was going on.
Yeah.
They could play all the big clubs in Denton and
I like the idea, by
Dallas.
the way. I'm full on. You should tell the guys I'm fully on board with that.
Yeah.
I think it's a good idea.
The only place Spectacle had a issue with was Fort Worth, but because it was either Lola's or nothing. That's where they would play. But yeah. Now
Or,
we're gonna come back and it's gonna be the Dive Bar tour and it's gonna be great. I'm so excited. We're gonna play
Should be.
Diamond Gems.
Yeah.
We're gonna play Mavericks. We're gonna play Growl.
Rock Dog.
If Rock Dogs is open, we'll
I'd
go
play
there.
Growl, though. Growl would be cool.
We're gonna be so fucking loud for Growl. It's not even funny. It's gonna hurt. Inside. I'm not playing outside. I want to destroy the inside. And then we're gonna play the Rail. We didn't even get into that story.
Yeah.
And then what's another good dive? You know all the dives up that
Billiards.
way. If they'll let us play.
They let I Was Once Eaten play.
Well, for MTV. MTV the Ocho.
And we almost had a gang fight of women strippers, Latino strippers.
What was with that? I don't even understand what that was
do
about.
you remember how high I was because I just blew my knee out? And I was like, I don't even want to play this show. And they're like, everybody's like, just fucking fight through it. And I sat on a stool and ate like 9 hydrocodone 10s and drank like 67 shots.
I need to find these old I Was Once Eaten
And
pictures.
still, we managed to play a good show.
We were the best thing there that night.
Except for the stripper fight was pretty cool.
That was weird. What? I don't even understand why that happened.
I just remember because I remember I'd just gotten that amp and I was like, no, because I thought they were going to knock it over.
On MTV the Ocho.
We got interviewed before that show too, remember?
And the one out there, yeah.
That was for the same thing, wasn't it?
It was for the same show, but we only played, like, the same show on MTV. It was for that. But we
And
got
the girl
interviewed
didn't know.
and played there.
The girl didn't know anything about
That
us.
was the one in Dallas when we drove out
Wasn't
there
that
to
the
Dallas.
same
We didn't
group?
play that one. They just wanted us to come out there and be interviewed.
Yeah, and remember that band,
It was
the
the same
eyeliner
group.
band that's been around for a while got interviewed before us, and they were all dressed up with eye makeup and stuff, and we were like, hey,
Yeah, we know those guys pretty well.
yeah.
We won't say who they were
Oh,
because they've been in
can't
here
remember
a
this.
couple times, right?
Well, the guys that were there that night weren't the same guys though.
No, it was
the
their singer.
Yeah, who's had eye makeup on.
It's the singer.
It
Now
was all had with a bunch of Ed Hardy jeans and Affliction shit, and we're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? And next thing I know, y'all knew him.
we did know him.
I
And the
never
next
played
thing
with
we
him.
know is they're now another band with a different lead singer. How's that for teasing who it was?
I never wore Ed Hardy or Affliction
I never did either.
ever.
Ever.
I'm proud to say it, and
I'm
I
proud to
damn
say
sure
it.
never wore it at a rock show or an interview for
Never.
a rock show.
Never.
That's so freaking Alter Bridge.
The only thing that I wore that was crazy weird was my Formula One shirt. My Williams Formula One team shirt that I
During-
had forever.
I Was Once Eaten or other shows.
At their next Mobius.
I don't remember
I
that.
wore that. There's pictures from that. What was that place called? Hell something. The Underworld
Oh yeah.
on Lower
Division?
Greenville.
Oh wait. I thought that was the Underworld. Was that Oh no, yeah. I'm thinking. Of,
It's right on
what's
the
it
backside
called?
of Arcadia.
Yeah, I know you're
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah. All right, I've had enough. I'm going to get out of here.
I gotta go too.
Okay, bye. The Underworld.
The other one was the one in Arlington. Was what was it? I forgot. The California guy, like you had to sell your tickets.
Division 1?
Huh?
Division 1?
No, there was another venue that.
Oh, you
something World.
Dream World.
Dream World. That's it.
Yeah. Did y'all play Division 1 with us? The one that was that weird round dome room? I know we did with what was Fritz's band? Fritz and Apache? Speakeasy. Yeah. Show 461.
Tulips.
Heaven. I hope they don't cancel.
I hope they don't cancel it. I hope they fucking are coming with it. You know what I mean?
I hope they don't. They're like, Texas has too much ice. We're gonna have to delay it. I'll be like, you guys, dude, it's fucking cold out there. What, Deaf Heaven? Yeah. Is that what you want to do? Right over there? Yep. Yeah, Deaf Heaven's gonna be fun. In like a month. I have to look and see. Going down, we play down there. Hold on, I'll tell you. We're playing South by Southwest on March 19th. The release of the record is the 11th and 12th, and then the next weekend we're going South by Southwest. Then I wanted to go to Big Bend March 31st through April 3rd. I did. I don't think I'm going to be able to now. And then Baroness is April 6th. On a Wednesday now instead of a Tuesday. Which I need to send an email to those guys. Baroness guys. April, what did I say? April 6th? No one has. Bunch of freeloaders.
Guess when I was going to go to Hawaii?
When?
The week we're going to New York, so I got to reschedule everything.
We need to sit down and talk about that. Because, yeah, we just need to sit down and talk about that.
And freaking Mandy wants me to go to fucking
Alabama?
Alabama?
Gulf Shores is great.